All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and start it. Let me hit the record button. Hey, guys, this is Cotton Grammar, another assimilation webinar tonight. Very important. We're going to be going over the 10 reasons why you're not making $30,000 a month. It could be a very uncomfortable webinar for a lot of you. And if you feel like we're talking to you, it's probably because we are. But first, I want to go through our special guests on the webinar we've got, then I'm going to turn it over to one of them. And first one is obviously my sidekick who's always on here, my partner, Derek Wasiak. How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, Con. How are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. Fresh off from Phoenix in assimilation. It went amazing. And speaking of Phoenix, we also have my good friend, Fletch. What's going on, buddy?
Hey, Con. Glad to be on tonight, man.
Yeah.
The place just isn't the same without you out here. It was a wild weekend. Got a lot done.
Definitely. I had a lot of fun, and especially hanging out with you. And working out of the Search Explosion offices is always an adventure.
It's good to have you over here, man.
Definitely. And we are also have on my good friend Stephen Floyd. What's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy. How are you?
Doing amazing. You ready to throw down on the 10 reasons tonight?
I've been ready since you mentioned it a week ago. Good stuff.
Great. And the special guest that we have on tonight is someone that's the reason why I'm even in OMG. And it is, and I know he's going to love this when I say this, it's SEO guru, Alex Becker. What's up, Alex?
The SEO guru. Oh, I'm the greatest. Best ever. Read my blog. All right. Yeah. Hi, guys. What's going on? Should I just take it? Well,
yeah. Well, let me go ahead and make you an organizer. And guys, Alex is going to show you something pretty special that I think all of us can utilize at OMG.
just let me know when you...
Yeah, we got you right now. You're ready to go.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. Let's see, am I organizer now, or?
You are.
Okay.
You can either take control of yourself, or I give you.
Yeah, let me make myself presenter. Everybody, let me close this real quick, show that. All right, cool. So, real quick, guys, I'm not really, a lot of times when you guys see me come to these webinars, I'm like, I have something cool to show you, and buy it. I'm not have anything for you guys to buy today. I just want to say, how many people here, give me a 1 if you've used Source Market yet. Just give me a 2 if you have not. You never heard of it, you don't know what it is. Just... Okay, cool. Lots of 2s. That's great. All right, guys, so a lot of people here, how many people here have a store on Fiverr or bought anything from Fiverr or anything like that? And what I'm about to show you is something that we opened up on SourceWave about just a week and a half ago, actually, is when we opened this up to the public. And what you're looking at right now is Gregory Ortiz's account on here. He's literally made over $8,000 on this in the time being. I know you guys might be thinking, you know, well, Gregory Ortiz is Gregory Ortiz. Of course, he's going to do that. But we're having just general members making about $1,000 to $2,000 a week from their stores that are set up like that and everything like that. So what I want to show you real quick is something that I created to really give back to the SEO community and really get people off of Fiverr and all these places that are selling sketchy services and stuff like that. So what I want to show you guys is basically what I like to call Source Market. And this is a place, and Con asked me to come on so that you guys will start spamming this place instead of the OMG group. That was kind of his reasoning. So I'm going to help him do that. So basically what this is essentially like Fiverr, but the only difference is you get 100% of what you make and you get 20% of whatever any customer you send here buys. Okay, so basically like on Fiverr, if you go and create a store on there and you send traffic there, they're going to take 20% away and then you're just done. It's done like that. If you go anywhere else, any other marketplace, that's just how they all work. What I decided to do here is just make a place where all SEOs can come together, get 100% of whatever they sell, and also get rewarded for sending customers into this community. So basically how it works, guys, is and you can just see all the people making money from this. Just normal people are making, you know, an extra $100, $250 a day. That sounds pretty nice. But however it works, guys, is you basically come on here and you create a store. Any customers you send to the store or anything else like that, if they come to the store and they buy, you get 100% commission. All right. If they buy anything else on the site, even if they don't buy what you initially sent them to, you get a 20% commission of whatever they buy. So basically, you just have affiliate commissions rolling in and rolling in. Now, how many people here? Give me a 3 if you've ever suggested an SEO product. You've ever sent someone the Fiverr or some other site, and there you go. It happens all the time in the OMG group. People ask for advice or where to go. All right. If you come on Source Market, all right, and this is how tons of people right here are making like an extra $150 a day just from affiliate commissions and suggesting SEO services. But if you come on Source Market and you go and find, let's go and find Greg's service. Greg's in this webinar right now. If you want to make him a talker or whatever, I'm not going to try and find he's somewhere in here. Anyways, Greg's service is somewhere around here. And say somebody asks in a group somewhere and says, hey, what's a good PBN service? What's a good social signal service? What's a good keyword research service? If you come on here, and all you do is let me go and sign in real quick. If you go right here, all you have to do is go down and you hit promote this service. It gives you a link. And so if you say, hey, this is a good PBN service right here, you instantly collect 20% of whatever that person buys, the service they just bought, plus any other service they buy on the site. So we have people just who tag maybe 50 people over the 2 weeks and are making an extra $200 a day from doing this. So give me a 1 if you get the general concept. Pretty dang simple. I'm not making any money from this right now. There will probably be some monetization strategy in the future. But basically, you can come here. If you're an SEO buyer, you can come here and buy from services that are properly reviewed with proper adminning, proper thumbs up and reviewing. You can see exactly how people are reviewing services and so forth. Get reliable services. You can come here. And if you're a seller, you can come here, and this is actually more profitable than opening up on your own site. Because if you open a service up on your own site, it's a pain in the butt. You're not going to get any traffic. You're not going to get any free customers. But 2, if you send customers to your own site and a person buys, there's no 20% affiliate commissions after that. All right? If you're out there constantly suggesting SEO services or your friends are asking what you do, you can literally send them here and make money instead of just giving away free customers to people. So it's a pretty cool thing. All right? So how many people think that's neat? Give me a 4 if you think that's cool.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah. Oh, hey, Greg.
Hey.
You've been doing pretty well on here, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been doing pretty well. Just like you said, with affiliate, especially. So, like, if someone asks me, where do I sell PBNs, I'll just copy my affiliate link and send it to them because it stays on as a cookie. So I've collected out of the 8,000, about 1,000 of it is from referrals. As you can see, most of that image begins with referrals anyway. So yes, like I just said, guys, like Greg, he's just sending his traffic, his customers to Source Market, and anything else they buy on the site, they're already cookied. Just for a long time, you can see how much there, and commissions just keep rolling and keep rolling in. So the more customers you send here, the more commissions you get. But like I said, guys, if you're a seller right here, you collect 100%, you get 20% of whatever everybody else buys, aka more money than you'd make sending people to your own site. If you're a person who just suggests services, well, you can actually make money suggesting your friends to go here instead of other places. So it's at market.sourcewave.com. or you can just Google SourceWave Market or any of those things. It's very cool. It's free to join. It's free to use. There's no commission or fee or payments or anything. You just hop on, use it, rate people, get services you need. That's it. It's pretty simple.
Great. Guys, we got any questions for Becker about this? I mean, he's going to be on here a little bit. It's free to join. And guys, just be honest, because it's just all of us seeing right here. When you're in OMG, aren't you tired of getting spammed by members? I mean, just you're like there for information. Give me a number 5. I mean, the Source Market is the place where you want to be. Exactly.
Hey, Cotton.
Yeah.
Hey, one thing I want to point out about this is, Alex used, Fiverr as a, comparison because it is similar to Fiverr. But one thing I want to make sure everybody understands is there's well beyond $5 gigs on here. Okay, yeah. There's everything from completely outsourced like monthly SEO packages to just all kinds of crazy stuff. So do not be thinking this is Fiverr. It works like Fiverr, but it's like a all-in-one, one-stop shop for SEO services. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and you can see, like, if you come in here and open a store, like, you just get sales. We have average sellers making $1,000 extra a week. Just average sellers. It's not like Gregory Ortiz. And by the way, I've only linked to Gregory Ortiz's store once, and it was just in like a Facebook group. So I'm not out here promoting him either. So it gets all that. But you can just see, like, Gregory Ortiz isn't even the best seller on the site. All right, you need to pick it up, Greg. All right, you need to get your shit together. I mean, stuff together. I'm not allowed to curse on here. But all right, start the webinar over. But yeah, you can just see like the average sellers on here are just absolutely killing it. So it's a great place. You get free traffic. And the only time you pay a 20% commission, unlike other marketplaces where they take 20% just for being on the site, is when someone sends you a customer you would have not had before, aka when you get a free customer without doing advertising, without doing anything. We handle it all for you, or other people handle it all for you. You just open up a store, you do good SEO for people, and that's it.
Cool. Any questions, guys?
Yep. Someone said you get 20% if you buy the service yourself through a client, for a client through the link. If someone links you to it, you don't get a. If you link yourself to it, you're not going to get 20% off an order. I think that's basically what they're asking. If you link yourself through your own affiliate link, you're not going to get 20%. If you buy through someone else's affiliate link, they get 20%. The seller gets 80%. So. Someone said website development or just SEO. Everything SEO is here. Backlinks, social signals, content creation, complete PBN setup, anything you could ever want SEO-wise is on the website. And the best sellers, and it's actually a site focused on SEO instead of just people trying to sell cheap, iffy SEO. So pretty simple stuff. So again, guys, it is market.sourcewave.com, or just Google SourceWave Market, and it's all there for you. Real simple. 100% free. Enjoy. Make some extra money off of SourceWave's back.
Sounds great. Alex, I appreciate you showing all that to us. Hopefully, I beg all OMGers. Because in 2016, guys, you're going to need to get used to using Source Market. The reason is that I already know what the rules are going to be for 2016 in the OMG Facebook group. There will be no members allowed to sell anything inside the groups, which I'm going to be praise Jesus about, believe me. So everyone is going to have to be routed over to here, so you might as well get used to it, because we get so many complaints about members of just unknown people in the OMG group, just posting in the main group, trying to score money off OMG. You're going to get more eyes on this. You're going to make more money going here, doing it with Alex, and he welcomes it. So go where you're welcome, not where you're unwelcome. That's what I say. So.
Awesome stuff.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I'll sit on for a little bit though, and this webinar, what you described earlier, sounds fun. So
yeah,
listen.
Yeah, guys, I'm going to let you vote right now. I'm going to go ahead and take back the presenter. We're going to be in the OMG Way group, in the free group, and what I want you to do is, if you want us to skip questions and answers and go right on into the 10 reasons. Just give me a hell yeah that you want us to skip. Right in here in the main group, a hashtag hell yeah. And we'll skip. If we get enough, we'll skip Q&A and we'll roll right on into the lesson, because I got a feeling that this is going to take a while. And you know what? If we jump right on into it, we might even get Alex's input on a couple of these also. We can't stay for long, but looks like we're getting quite a few. So, yeah, everyone says skip. We're like getting a lot of them in right there. So, Fletch, looks like we're going to skip it, buddy.
I like that. Let's just quit messing around and get to the meat.
Yeah, we're going to jump right on into it. So, we're going to get some that. We're going to go back and forth to this to get some input. But, guys, we're going to jump right into reason number one. So, let me explain to you what we're going to do tonight, guys. We're going to give you the 10 reasons why we feel you're not making $30K a month. What I'd like for you to do before we get started is this. If you have made $30,000 a month consistently for the last 90 days, the last 3 months, I want you to give me hashtag 30K, which means that you've made $90,000 over the last 3 months. I want to see you give me a post, hashtag 30K. Or even make it easier, give me a 1 in the chat box if you have. A 1. Shut up, Gregory. I'm not talking to you. So we have one person. 1. I'm not talking about the people that are on the webinar. That's why you're on here. So what I'm saying is we have literally one person that says they've made $90,000. So that means this webinar applies to every one of you. There's a reason that we're all here, because everyone on this webinar right now has made over $1,000 a day. Some of us, I think the last time that I'm up to like $17,000, $18,000 a day. So I make close to $125,000 a week. So my whole point of it is, guys, listen to what we're saying. Listen to what we're saying. We know what we're talking about. We've been doing it. For you not to listen is foolish for people that are already paving the path for you. So we have one person out of 300 that has made $30,000 a month consecutive. That is it. Everyone on the webinar has made over $30,000 consecutive for the last 3 months. So that's how powerful. See, Stephen Floyd says he's shocked. I'm not shocked. I already knew I was going to get these numbers. I already knew I was.
I am. I thought at least out of 300 we'd have 20 or, I don't know.
No way.
15, 20.
Nope. Fletch and I talked about it last week, and Fletch and I knew that once you start to hit that $20,000 threshold, I was going to do the 20 reasons at 20, but then I knew that there's very few people doing over 30. So we really needed to focus on that. And when you really stop and look at it, the numbers trickle down to literally less than 10 people in OMG after $30,000. That's what's pretty scary. So we're gonna jump into the lesson. We're gonna get right to it. But Fletch, when we talked about it, is this surprising to you or is this shocking to you?
I don't think it's not really either. It's something I think that I've encountered a lot just in working with so many people who've come through, really trying to find their way, getting lost, getting distracted, not really having a clear plan, trying to complicate things too much. We're going to talk about a lot of those things, but yeah, it's not surprising at all. It's quite simple and straightforward to get to 5 or 10,000, but really to create a business that you actually like that does 30 is a different matter. So I'm glad that you're kind of going to cover this stuff. Yeah.
Sure. Alex, what about you? Are you kind of shocked that out of 300 people on here that there's only one person that's made over $30,000 3 months consecutive, or is that something you thought that?
Yeah, I am, because in my opinion, SEO. When I first got into SEO, it was hard. You had to have a PhD and stuff. Right now, with how client SEO and how just rankings are in general, easier than ever before. It's the easiest it's ever been in the history. Well, at the time I've been in SEO, when it first started, you could just spam scrape box all day and rank. But at this point, it's there right now as well.
Sure. Guys, we're going to jump in right to the first topic right here. Because Alex is with us a limited amount of time, and he's great at impromptu. Alex, what do you think about this right here? This is one of the reasons why I feel when people come into OMG or they come into Your Source University, that they just can't stay focused and they're all over the place and they haven't picked a path to make their income. How important is this for them to reach $30,000 a month?
Well, I always tell people, and an example of what I think you specialize in, because the first time I met you at my mastermind, and you're doing like 100K a month, and then you went up to 400K a month, and I think you're well past that by now. I saw some posts on Facebook. But what people decide to focus on is not what gets them paid. What gets you paid is selling to clients and getting that check. And you're very good at selling to clients and getting that big check. That is what you focus on. You're very good at SEO, not taking that away, but you're very good at selling to clients, getting that check, getting those referrals. And what people will do when they get into SEO, and in almost every internet marketing niche, is they'll try and learn everything. They'll try and do a little bit of this. They'll try and stay in their comfort zone. And they just dabble in everything, and they don't focus on the one thing that gets you paid. If you want to get to $30,000 per month, what you need to do is just simply focus on getting more clients, Don't focus on being the best SEO on the planet. Don't focus on knowing every single ninja tactic and understanding everything. Just focus on getting clients and getting paid. And it's the same thing with affiliate stuff, the same thing with whatever the heck you're doing. People decide to focus on stuff that doesn't pay them for their time. They go and learn stuff. They go and learn some Facebook advertising, even though they're not doing Facebook advertising. They're all over the place. Pick a way that's working and look at someone who's making $100,000 per month. They're doing exactly what you want to do, and then do exactly that over and over and over again, and focus on the one point that gets you paid. Okay, for example, with SourceWave, the main thing that gets me paid is getting leads. So the whole focus of the SourceWave business is to get leads and leads and leads and leads and leads in. So I focus on what gets me paid. Con focuses on what gets him paid. Everybody here focuses on what gets them paid. That's how you see Gregory, who's shot up his income. That's how you've seen everybody do it. So That's what I got on that.
Great. Fletch, what do you think about this? What advice do you have for everybody?
You know, I've been in for like 2.5 years, a little over 2.5 years now, and really the thing that I went out and did within 2 weeks of joining OMG is still the biggest revenue producer that I have, and it's because I've stuck with it, and that's lead generation stuff. So, you know, you've illustrated very well that there's, you know, whatever limit you think there might be on your current model is probably something that's self-imposed. So if you're like, well, I'm doing affiliate, but, you know, all the rest of the money's over here, or if you're doing client, you think all the money's in affiliate, or those are going to be things that really undermine you. And, you know, those little nagging doubts about being on the right path are going to be things that keep you from moving down the path you're on to a level that you're able to really make a lot more of your own rules. So, that, you know, that there's certainly very, you know, followable strategies to get well in excess of 30K with those three, you know, really big models. I think client for most people is the best thing to start out with. It's so localized, it's so huge, so many businesses need it. But if you're not on that path and that isn't something that you really want to go after, there's a lot of other ways to stick with it long enough to really see the fruits. You know, as much as anything, that's really what I want to help illustrate for people just in sticking with the lead gen and kind of some of the things that I'm doing is that, you know, that's something that didn't even exist when I came into OMG. There was no training on lead generation and, you know, selling phone calls or anything like that. So, you know, if you've got some method that you think you can make money with in OMG that is really straightforward and simple, it's, you know, you don't have to, you know, reinvent the wheel on everything. In all likelihood, you can do that. But if you want to just follow some instructions of people who have actually kind of blazed the trail and put the training together, I think it's probably a better, you know, a better fit for most folks to get in there and follow one of kind of the, you know, blueprints, for lack of a better term, that Cotton's put together for client getting, the stuff that Joe Marfolio and I have done for lead generation with local clients, all the incredible training for affiliate that we have inside. Really, all those things are paths that you can follow, but, you know, dabbling in each of them, like Becker was talking about, is pretty much a sure way to never make enough headway that you really figure it out, that you really can scale it, that you're really comfortable with it.
Sorry, I was muted. Steven, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, you know, on Monday I will turn 45, and I've been doing business since I was in my early 20s, and almost a year ago I went to one of Alex's masterminds, and I sat there and I thought, what is this freaking 20-something-year-old kid going to teach me that I don't already know? And he did an exercise that's exactly what you're talking about right now. And, you know, very simple, but what gets you paid? And it hit me like, you know, I don't know, like a sledgehammer. And it started the process. It was very humbling. But I can tell you that, you know, that was a crossroads. That was one of the things where I realized that I was spending, you know, time and energy on the things that I shouldn't have been spending them on. And I'm so, you know, thankful and grateful that I was able to kind of take that message in. And then, of course, the stuff that, you know, you and I have done together, you know, that you've taught me also, you know, has got me to where I was able to, you know, answer yes to that, you know, that 30K question pretty easily, you know. But I tell you what, man, you know, these are all important, but this one is a big one. You know, jack of all trades, master of none. That's BS. It's complete BS when you're starting. The people who are at the very top in every field, they focus laser on one thing. Now down the road, you know, if you're the baddest, you know, client SEO and you feel like doing affiliate stuff, then go ahead, you know, knock yourself out. If you're just starting off, you know, and you're struggling and you're fighting and, you know, you're looking at that OMG payment every month going, you know, how am I going to make this? Then you got to pick a track and go kill it. And my humble suggestion would be to do what everyone here is telling you to do. I think pretty much everyone on this webinar would probably tell you to do client to start. It's the easiest path, kind of to get that initial money that you need, to get things going. So, a late thank you out to Alex for that. It's funny how one little thing can kind of change your direction. And I know that's what you're hoping that tonight will do for a lot of people here.
Sure.
That not every message is for everybody, but that everyone listening, will find that one thing at least that makes it a crossroads. Where you can look back and say, August 12, 2015 is when things changed for me. I remember that date. That's when things changed for me.
Great. One of the things that I really want to focus on with this one right here is, guys, there's more ways than ever to choose a path to go on. You hear about Amazon. You hear about Legion. You hear about client. You hear about affiliate. One of the things that I can tell you is you can take an example of Fletch, who is possibly the most successful lead gen expert on earth. I don't care what anyone else says. We have verifiable proof that it's just a fact. He is. And what Fletch has done is he got great at one thing. It's what he stuck with. It's what he got great at. And now that he's got great at it, he's been able to spread his wings and now start moving into some client stuff. But it wasn't until he mastered one trait and did it better than anyone in the world. If I have anything to ask about lead gen, I'm going to one man on this earth. That's Fletch. That's Fletch. So, and the same thing with client. I've chosen client. I don't feel that I've reached my potential yet, learning everything that I can about being the best at client SEO. And I know that you might say that that's absurd, but I really don't feel like I'm even running at 45%. There's so much more to learn. There's so much more to shave off. There's so much more to maneuver around. It's because I'm mastering one thing. So I encourage you, don't get caught into all the attractive stuff is, hey, let's like get over here on Amazon. Let's like get over here on this and do that. You're going to spread your focus out in so many different directions, you're going to fail. I've never been a believer that one man can love 4 wives equally. I've just never been a believer of that. I don't operate that way. I'm a one-focused thing. You heard Becker just get on and say that leads, 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 leads. That's what he focuses on. That's how he knows he makes his money. That's what he's a master at. He's a master at it. There's no one I know better than him. And every one of us here can say that we're a master of one particular thing. Derek, he's a master of SEO. It's just simple. It is. We've picked out one thing and got better at it than anyone. We all have our strengths, but guys, find out what your strength is. It might not be client SEO. It might be affiliate. It might be lead gen. Whatever it is, it might be Amazon, if that's your flavor. But guys, pick one. Learn everything you can about it and push forward as hard as you can. And be the guy that asks the questions. There's 2 types of people. They're the guys that wait for the answers, the guy that has the answers. I've never wanted to be the guy that's waited on the answer. If Alex, I followed him around everywhere before I got into OMG. But you know what? Alex wasn't moving fast enough for me because he doesn't have to. He was giving free information to us. I wanted to be the guy that had the information, that gave it to you, not the guy that waited on me to get the information. If you're the one waiting around for the information, you're always 4 steps behind the best person. That's never where I wanted to be. And that's when I decided that I was going to become a master at client SEO. Pick something, stick to it, and be the best at it. That's one of the keys to getting to $30,000 a month. We would normally talk a little bit more about it, but I want Alex to stick around for one more, and then I know he's got to take off, but we're going to go with this one. Alex, I'd like for you to speak on this one first. Not necessarily 60 hours, but a lot of OMGers come to me and they tell me I'm not doing well. And when I break down, they're doing 2 or 3 hours a day. And I want you to extrapolate on how hard you work, Alex, and what it takes until you hit $30,000 a month and how important this is.
Yeah, it's a really funny thing. A lot of people get into internet marketing because they read the 4-hour work week or whatever, and they want to just casually work and stuff like that and just make money. This is not how it works. It should be like a 60-hour work week thing. And look, making money is like building a machine. When you get later on down the road, like at the point where I'm at, I can work 4 hours a week and still make the money I do because I have a staff, developers, and a machine I spent time building over the years. With that being said, when you first get into this, the best way to get to 30K a month, the reason why I don't think many people get to 30K a month is because you have to sit down and just do what gets you paid 60 hours a week. If you are out there trying to get checks 60 hours a week, you're going to get checks and you're eventually going to get the 30K a month or a week or a day if you want to, if you just go out there and work hard enough. So it kind of drives me nuts when people get into this and they want that passive income, or they want to be, I don't know, they just want to be really good at something and pick up a skill set and be good at it in less than a year's time, be a professional at it without working 60 hours, without working even 20 hours or something like that. I still work this amount every week. Granted, I have fun doing it, but yeah, you got to go out there, and when you first get into it, you have to devote yourself solely to it. And a lot of people are still, playing around, beating around the bush, and that's just not how to get stuff done.
Great. Alex, I know that your time's limited. If you want to stick around for another one, you can. If not, you're welcome to log out anytime you want. We appreciate you coming on, sharing it with us. If we get you for another one, that's great. If not, it's always a pleasure having you on and hearing your wisdom. Derek, what do you think about this one, man?
I mean, do you have to? No. I mean, I put in tons and tons of work every week, obviously, but it's mostly just to gear up for summer, where I kind of go low key for a bit and trying to have more time with the family, right? So, but I do put in 60 hours a week, almost 90% of the time. I don't really have too much. I mean,
do you feel though that if someone's getting started and they think they're only going to work 40 hours a week, that they're going to hit 30K?
Well, you could eventually, but I mean, it's kind of, it's like for the longest time, like there's no way I could put 60 hours in a week. I mean, I got 2 kids, and
Sure.
and I got 2 properties to take care of, and I have other stuff to do too, right?
Sure.
So, I mean, if I wish I could work 60 hours a week, I'd probably be like 4 times the amount of income.
Right.
It's just a matter of dedicating how much, and also, I mean, also, just because you're on the computer 60 hours a week doesn't mean you're being productive. So if you're really good at being productive I know some people are 10 times more productive than I am, and they can get 3 times as much done. So.
Great. Fletch, what do you think about this?
I mean, I worked a lot more than that number, Cotton. Honestly, it's a matter of how fast you want to get there. There's just a certain number of hours that it takes to learn and master. And what I did when I joined is I would push until my brain really stopped picking up new information. And I kind of hit diminishing returns, or whatever you want to call it, when I was studying or when I was actually building the sites out. And that was kind of when I said I was done for the day. It wasn't really based on, oh, hey, I looked at my clock and I put in my 8 hours and now I get to go home. My wife was on board with it. She knew we needed to change it. I had to learn this new stuff. So, it was pretty much just a matter of me spending, as much time with her when she was awake and home from work, and, Matea when she got home from work or from school. And then pretty much the rest of the 24-hour period I was spending, learning or implementing SEO. And I got some more to talk about that balance that I'll talk about later. But the only thing that you would want to work less than you possibly could is if for some reason you want to take longer to get where you want to go. And I really don't know that many reasons. I mean, I got young kids, and even being away from them for a couple hours sometimes is painful, but I know that doing this now will let me spend the rest of my life watching them grow up and helping teach them. So that's really kind of how I come at this.
Great. Stephen, what do you think, buddy?
Well, what strikes me when I read this is 2 things. First of all, part-time work, part-time pay, right? You can't expect to work part-time and make full-time wages, but for everyone that's on this webinar, you have to, I hope that you realize that, for most people in most jobs, most professions, working 60 hours a week doesn't mean jack shit. Most people in the world can work their ass off, 60, 70, 80 hours a week and never even think about making the kind of money that you can make in our career, with the right group of people around you. So, if you want to do it, if you're willing to do the work, the reward is there. So, again, if you want to make that cotton money, you got to do that cotton work. And there's no other way to do it.
Great. I'm going to speak very briefly, and then I'm going to turn it over to someone else who I think solidifies how to get successful. One of it being this. Guys, I literally put in 7 a.m. to 2 a.m. every day the first 6 months of OMG, 7 days a week. I didn't go anywhere. Now, I know a lot of you can't do that, and I want you to take the message in this of working as much as you can. It doesn't necessarily have to be 60 hours, but how committed are you? All right, guys, we're recording again. Sorry, this is part 2. Our buddy Becker decided he would make a grand entrance and ended the webinar, so I'll splice part 1 and part 2 together when I do the recording so you have it. But, guys, what we were talking about is I was right in the middle of talking to, and I don't know really where I got cut off at or kind of remember is, but we were talking about the amount of time that you have to put in while you're working. And guys, I want you to take the general idea of it that I understand that if you are a single mother and you have to work a full-time job, but the question is, how much time do you want to put in to get to where you're going? Sacrifices have to be made. Do you really, really, really want to make $300,000 plus a year? Because I'm telling you this, once you set up this foundation and really bust your ass the first 3 to 4 months, doesn't necessarily mean that you have to keep doing it. Now, I want to reiterate what Derek said. Derek knows that he can't work 60 hours every week, but you heard what he said. If he did, he'd be beyond what he is. But guys, trust me when I say this. It is imperative your first 3 to 4 months that you get the support from your family, from your friends, to respect your wishes, that you're going underground and metamorphosize into something different. That's what I had to do. I cut off the world. And a lot of you can't do that. A lot of you have part-time jobs. A lot of you have children. I understand that. But guys, when you put your children to bed, are you watching TV or are you listening to OMG videos? What are you doing? Are you continuing to do SEO late hours in the night? Are you? How bad do you want it? How bad do you want it? And if you're willing to commit to it, I'm telling you, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. And as I told you before, we had, guys, did anyone find Gregory yet? Let me look for him here myself.
I have them highlighted, but I can't figure out how to make them.
Hold on. You gotta right click them. I got
Yeah,
him.
not on a Mac. How do I do that?
I got him.
Sorry, brother.
No, it's all right. Guys, one of the examples that I want to show you of what sacrifice does. Gregory Ortiz has literally placed him, I believe, in the top 3 or 4 positions of income, definitely in the top 5 earners in OMG right now. Right now. He signed up over a year ago. He's making over $75,000 a month. That's literally over $2,000 a day. He's doing that. And he did it because he set the foundation. Gregory, what did you have to go through and what sacrifices did you have to make your first 4 months?
Hello, can you hear me now, Cotton?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, I mean, my first 4 months were definitely the roughest as far as adjustment. I mean, not only am I learning a new skill, but it's a whole new lifestyle that I needed to create for myself, you know. This is one of those subjects that is a little touchy for me because I don't really, as most of you guys who do know me, I really don't get upset about many things. But I do get upset when I hear people saying they don't want to work a lot of hours and they still want to make a lot of money. And the reason why it upsets me is because, like, I worked 60 hours a week alone at my day job. That's not just doing SEO. That's at my day job. Every single week I worked 60 hours. Then on top of it, I had to figure out time to spend with my, at the time, 3-year-old son and my wife, and then learn SEO at the same time. Now, I mean, if you guys can just give me maybe a 1 in the chat box. How many guys here have seen Rocky, specifically Rocky Part 3, the movie? I know it's a few years old, but probably most of you have seen it. Okay. So it looks like a good amount of people have seen it. Great. So one of the things in there that always struck a chord with me when I was younger, and even so much more today, is, you know, the primary like phrase in that movie was "Eye of the Tiger," right? So it was complete focus. Like if you look at his character in that movie, he was at a point where he became comfortable with where he was, and he got beat by the next up and comer without even seeing it happening, right? And he needed to go back to his roots and learn everything all over again, just so that way he can go back to where he was. And it's one of those things where it's like, you have to always keep your eye on the prize. Like for me, I understand, just like Becker said, like I may not need at this point to work that many hours, but I'm going to continue to do it because I'm trying to not only build something for my entire family to have for years, but also at the same time, it gives me that feeling of, like I've accomplished something. To go from, working a day job where I made 60,000 a year to now making over 75,000 a month, like it's insane. Like, and everyone is afforded this opportunity. It's not like I did anything differently than you or anyone else that's in OMG. Like all I did is just like we said in the beginning, laser focus. Like you have to know your strengths, your weaknesses, and of course the hardest part is admitting what your weaknesses are. Once I figured all that out, I was laser focused on what I wanted to tackle piece by piece by piece. There's so many different things in SEO that I want to do, but I haven't gone to it yet because I know I still may not have finished something that I'm working on currently. So just having that discipline to go ahead and have that quote unquote eye of the tiger, to go ahead and continue to focus on one thing at a time until you're able to let it go and move on to the next thing. There's a million and one things. There's Amazon. I would love to get into Amazon, but I can't right now because I'm not laser focused on Amazon. I'm laser focused on other things at the moment. And once I can, then sure, I might shift to that or something else might come up. But it's just knowing your strengths and weaknesses and just having that focus and having that dedication and determination. Like at the end of the day, you have to wake up every morning or go to sleep every night saying what motivates you. And if you don't have anything that motivates you, then, and once again, this is my personal opinion, to give it to you bluntly, you're not going to be successful. If you don't have any motivation, then what are you doing? Like, why even try? You know what I mean? But you need to have some form of motivation. And once you see what your motivation is, always remember it. Times are going to get hard. It's going to get rough. There were plenty of times where I was exhausted. Like I was completely cranky because of the amount of sleep that I wasn't getting. But at the end of the day, I knew where I needed to be, and I kept my eye on the prize.
Thank you for sharing that, Gregory. And
Hey, Cotton.
yeah. Yes.
So, Gregory, what were you doing at about 4 a.m. this morning?
At 4 a.m. I was making videos.
Right. I mean,
yeah.
I talked to Gregory this morning at I think at 3:30 a.m. my time, and at like midnight my time last night, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, this kid is just, he's a kid. Sorry. This man he's walking it. He's just grinding all the time.
Gregory,
I've been working on something, so I haven't slept for 2 days just because I know I need to finish something. Like it's been 2 days that I've been up straight. Yeah, I'm on a lot of caffeine, but at the end of the day, I know I'm going to accomplish something that I need to do. So,
Gregory, I want to ask you personal question, and I don't want you to take offense to it.
Okay.
Do you think that you're the smartest guy in OMG?
No, of course not.
Why are you making $75,000 a month?
Because I guess the way I look at it is I was laser focused. I knew my strengths and my weaknesses, and I just didn't give up. I mean, there's always going to be things that I'm not going to understand, but that's where you build relationships and genuine relationships. Like I know for a fact that if I'm stuck on something that I don't understand, I can reach out to my friends, whether it be you guys or even just popping it right inside the Facebook group. Like a lot of people that I've spoken to, have told me certain things like, oh, well, you're friends with Cotton, Steven, and Joe, you could touch base with them. But that wasn't true at the beginning. When I first started, all I did was throw all my questions into the Facebook group, and everyone jumped on it and helped me. Everyone has that opportunity. It's not as though I'm doing anything different or anything special. I just make sure that I don't give up and try to get answers that I don't understand from everyone else.
Well, I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit. And you've already admitted that you don't think you're the smartest person on OMG, but I want you to answer this honestly, and I want you to answer it with some pride and with some cockiness. Can anyone outwork you, Gregory?
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, I'm a firm believer that there are many people that can outsmart me with certain things, but as far as outworking me, no. Like, I mean, if someone thinks they can outwork me, then that's fine. I like to go head to head with them and prove them wrong, but there's no way I'm going to let anyone outwork me, no.
But don't you think that is literally probably why you're at $75,000 a month? Because
Oh, absolutely.
that you'll outwork everybody. But when they're sleeping, you'll gain a step on them. When they're out watching movies, when they're out taking their, they're like time off that you're lurking and you're catching them, and you have.
Oh, absolutely. And the funny thing is, like, I don't even have cable. I don't have cable here at my place. And the funny thing is, like, my son, whenever he wants to watch TV, I'll throw on some Netflix for him, but I don't have cable because I know for a fact, like, I know one of my weaknesses is I love specific TV shows. So if I have it available to me at all times, I'm going to spend time that I could spend learning or doing something or flat out making money watching TV. And one of the biggest things actually for me to quit when I first joined OMG was to stop playing video games. Like for me, I was a huge fan of video games. And I was like, you know what? I love video games. But then I said to myself, all the time I spend all the time I spend playing video games, I could be making money so that way one day I could have games made for me. And that's how my, mindset was at the time. It's like, okay, why spend all this time spending money on other people's games when I can possibly build an empire where people will buy my games or my stuff, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how I quit playing video games at the time. Now I can, pick up an Xbox, play a game whenever I want because now I'm in that position. But the time I spent doing it or watching TV or anything else, like why? I can work.
Guys, I want to ask you a question, and I'm going to try to get a little commitment from everyone after each one of these to just kind of bring it home even further. Are you working every possible hour in the day? Do you have an extra hour that you could probably put in somewhere to get some extra work done? If you do, give me a hashtag I do. Hashtag I do. I want to see if you know that you got an extra hour somewhere that you can shave off something unproductive that you do. Give me a hashtag I do. Because guys, I'm telling you right now, you don't understand that 7 extra hours a week, even if you just add an extra hour, it's 7 extra hours a week. That's another work day. That's a whole nother work day. Think about that. That's a week. That's 4 extra days a month. Technically, that is another week you can add by just adding another day. What would you do if you had an extra week to just work? Guys, it's an extra 30 hours. And that's what it is. What could you do with 30 hours? Think about that. Guys, it's the smallest things that are going to move the needle for you. The smallest things. It's not the big things. Guys, I just want to tell you this. You're not doing anything that wrong. And you're going to find this out through the course of our 10 reasons. It is not have anything to do that you're that far off track. That we're over here in North America and you're in South America. It's the fact it is. You know what? One of the best quotes I've seen, if you get a chance to see it, is Al Pacino's speech that he gives on any given Sunday. It's literally about the inches. It's about the inches. It's about what you can do. And that's what I want you to focus on, guys. Move forward a few inches, and I guarantee you, it is literally going to make a difference. So, guys, I want you to stay committed. There's a lot of people here saying that you got another hour. We just found a way to give you another 30 hours a month to be productive. Fletch, if I gave you an extra 30 hours, what could you do with it?
If we're talking about work, I mean,
Yeah.
in a given week, I could launch a whole nother business that would be doing, a couple $100,000 a year.
Right.
That's probably equivalent to the time that I've spent, getting my guys kind of up to speed and getting the systems in place that are, I intend to do, in excess of $500,000 a month, in the near future with that. So
Sure.
you can do a lot if you know what you're doing. You just keep it simple. You get rid of all the distractions, all the stuff that's, you're spending time on that is not helpful. I think you'd probably be surprised with how many hours open up if you're just not doing things that are kind of destructive or, distracting you from things that will actually move you forward. Greg talked about, video games. I think everybody probably has some things in their life that you could get rid of and there would be absolutely no adverse effects for. So.
Right. You know what? I'd be interested to say this. I don't want you guys to put it in the Facebook group, because it's probably a little personal, but put it in the chat box. We're the only ones that can see it. What can you cut out of your life right now and get a couple hours back that's just worthless? Just worthless. We got someone say TV. Guys, I'd like to hear them. I'd like to hear some of the things so we can tell. Yeah, you could sleep a little less, sleeping, less time with a girlfriend, Facebook, TV, Amazon, YouTube videos, video games, worrying about politics, people saying that they could sleep a little less. I don't know if I'd cut back on church, but, eating, I don't know about that. You really can't stop eating, but or maybe preparing the food, something like that. But guys, find a way to start shaving time and give yourself an extra week. I know that you guys are jacking around for at least an hour a day that you could put back into being something productive. And that's what I want to take. That's what I want you to take out of this. That's why that I came up with this. You must work 60 hours a week to hit 30K. Guys, you got to find a way to get these lost hours back. I did. I still work 80 hours a week. I was on the phone last night for an hour and a half with Joe Marfolio. We didn't get off until 1:20 in the morning. I still worked another 45 minutes. I went to bed probably about 2:15 last night. I was up at 7:30 a.m. and I was working. So it's just the way it is. Guys, this door of the amount of money that we're raking in can close at any moment. I don't believe that. But if I don't play that game in my mind and make it believe it can happen, I'm going to start slacking and getting comfortable. And we're going to talk a little bit about that on the next one, but I'm going to move over to the next trade. I think you guys kind of get the idea. Find more quality time.
Hey, Cotton.
Yes.
One thing, we're at number 2 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
One thing about Gregory, and so guys, at the end you'll see this. One of the reasons, Cotton said you might not be the smartest guy. Obviously, the hustle, has a lot to do with it. But if you look at Gregory Ortiz and you look at these 10 rules, he's living them. And some of these things are things we're going to tell you to stop doing, and some of these things are things we're going to tell you to start doing. And for some of you, it may just be one thing. All right, but at least consider each one of these things and be honest with yourself and look at yourself and say, it might piss me off right away when I see this, right? If it's pissing you off, it's probably you, right? If it's affecting you, it's probably meant for you. All right. So anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm looking at the 10, I'm looking at Gregory, and I'm like, well, no wonder.
Sure, absolutely.
I appreciate that, Stephen.
Right. Guys, we're going to move over to the next one. This one burns me more than anything.
Oh.
Especially burns me at you people that have been in here for 4 or 5 months. There's really no excuse for it. It goes back to the last rule, and it goes back into the rule before that. So, Fletch, I'm going to let you start this one out.
Well, it's one of the things that, again, I run into quite a bit. I see not only in the Facebook group. For whatever reason, it seems to be becoming more prevalent. There are a lot of people who, for whatever reason, are trying to hang, their inability to go find something or do it themselves on someone else and make it someone else's responsibility. Whether it's one of the coaches or just other people in the Facebook group. There's so many times that I see just pure laziness, and it gets frustrating, I know, for Cotton and myself and Joe and Greg, for us to do so much, to put so much into this, and to know it works. It flat out works if you just get yourself to do it. For people to come in after having spent the money and then pretty much literally just hanging on somebody else to, okay, I'm here now, make it happen for me. So we do everything in our power to do that. And I know Cotton, I know Joe Marfolio, personally have extended so much time to people who really are putting everything they have into it. And if they get stuck or whatnot, we always try to reach out and help them. But that doesn't mean that you can just come in and say, okay, how do I rank sites? There's literally, that question exists in the Facebook group every once in a while, and I'm just like, wow, Like, first of all, there's no possible way that I could write that in a comment on a Facebook thread. And second of all, it's like you haven't even logged in and looked at any of this stuff. So, you know, for people who really are coming in with a very, you know, a very little amount of, you know, technical aptitude or experience, I'm actually in the process this week of just putting a full primer together just to kind of show you what the terminology and things like that mean. But it's all there. The only reason I'm doing that is really for people who come in maybe through Bob Proctor, who've never done any online marketing before and really just want a visual representation of how, you know, a PBN works with a money site and social profiles and things like that. But the training that exists right now is far in excess of what I learned with and what Cotton learned with. There's literally so much in there right now that there's no excuse to saying, well, that's not in the training, I didn't learn it. So, you know, it's strange too, for me, it seems like the people who are always clamoring for more information are the ones who either have studied a ton and spent a lot of time in the training and not really done anything with it, or people who have really not even dissolved any of the training into their brain yet at all and are saying, well, the reason I'm not doing it is because there's not this in there. So, yeah, I guess that's my thoughts on this. I don't, you know, honestly, I don't know if you got in and you haven't gone through the training. I'm not really sure why you got in, other than you know, want to change. That you're the only person that can change yourself.
Right. And you know, I'll let Stephen. What's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, this one is a big one for me. You know, when I got into OMG, I'd already been doing SEO for more than 10 years, and you know, was very good at ranking and very good at, you know, making a living with it. I still went through all the training multiple times, and I'll tell you what happens on pretty much a daily basis, if not multiple times through the day. Cotton, Joe, probably Greg, I'm sure, you know, Fletch, Gregory, will get private messages from people who will be asking for help, you know, with an issue or a question, and it's painfully, and I'm going to highlight the word, painfully obvious that they didn't even attempt to, you know, look at the training that's available. You know, and so, you know, and for me, when I look at my time, you know, I have to be frugal with my time, right? So, you know, it's very, I don't know, it's not good. I don't know what word to use, you know, but on the flip side, you know, when people, you know, ask the kind of questions that I know that they have gone through the training, I know that they need clarification. They've done work and they're at step 2 or 3 and they're having trouble getting to 4, then I am absolutely 100% positive that everyone that's on this call will help as much as humanly possible. And it's our pleasure to do so, you know, or we wouldn't be doing this, you know, but I'm going to invest my time and energy, you know, on you know, good ground, right? I'm not going to waste my seed on dead ground, right? So, you know, if you haven't gone through the training, probably more than anything else on this lesson tonight, you know, do an all-nighter, you know, do what you got to do. You got to watch the training. I mean, I've been through some of Greg's videos 6 or 7 times, and I'm advanced. I mean, by any normal, you know, standard, I'm advanced, and I've still gone through his stuff 6, 7, 8 times. So, you know, you're just, you know, it's crazy. You know, you'll watch a video once and 2, 3, 4 times, and you may get something new out of each time. You know, the stuff is just that good. And when you have people, you know, like Greg as an example, training you, you don't have to sit there and second guess and say, well, I wonder if he's right about that, or, you know, wonder if, you know, I should do this or that. Just, you know, again, you know, hashtag do what Greg does, right? So anyway, you know, please, if you don't do anything else after tonight, you know, with this webinar, please go through all the training, you know, for the part that you want, you know, basically.
Derek, how many times have people come and asked you for help and haven't even went through the necessary fundamentals?
It's pretty much every single day. It's kind of ridiculous sometimes. It's just, like even sometimes just people don't even spend the time going through the video. Like say like we did the custom maps like
Mm-hmm.
3 times or whatever,
Yeah.
and they're still like, oh, I can't figure out how to do this on there. And it's like, did you watch the video? It's like I did it like 3 times for you live, and it's like recorded. And well, how long does it take it indexed? It's like any other link. It's just got to send some links to it. It's just like super obvious stuff, and people get hung up on such the stupidest things, like, oh, why does this take so long to get indexed? Why does this do this? Or I mean, I just move on, keep going on, and check back like a month later, then come back and then investigate something like that. But don't start checking if something's indexed like 2 days later. It's just a waste of time. You could be spending learning or doing another project. It's just
Exactly.
It's kind of ridiculous sometimes.
Yeah, I mean,
Hung up on the simplest stuff.
yeah, we all experience that. Here's where I get to come in, and it's, guys, literally, it enrages me when people come to me and ask me for help that clearly haven't went through all the training, especially Greg's training. Now, I understand that everyone has to take in information at a certain pace. I understand that everyone might not be able to do this full time, but when you want to ask me a question and you haven't even learned how to set up a PBN yet properly, you don't know what DAPA is, you haven't went through every one of Greg's Morrison videos, to me, you're dead in my eyes. You're not going to be successful. What you're wanting to do is take a shortcut. And we're going to get to that a little bit later. Guys, it enrages me. Because you want to know why? I'm going to tell you why. Every one of us on here make more than anyone on earth at SEO. On earth. You have access to us. You have access to our information. I'll put Derek up against any SEO on earth. On earth. I will go up against any human on earth at making money on SEO. I will crush them. I'll put Fletch up against anyone at Lead Gen. He'll crush them. Gregory Ortiz out working with Stephen Floyd will outthink anyone. He's amazing at everything. And how dare you not go through our material? All the times that I cried myself to sleep and figured all this out. Do you really believe when you message me and you ask me to give you my template for my proposal that you deserve it when you don't even know how to set up a PBN? Are you serious? Something that I worked 40 hours for? I'm just going to hand that over to you? Hell no. No. You don't deserve it. Until you've completed the training that all of us have spent months. We've pulled our hair out. We've split tested. Guys, do you think it's easy to go out and get clients? Because I've made it easy. It didn't come naturally. And I can't believe the questions that I get. And you haven't even finished the training. You just haven't. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. I mean, I have never, ever, go back through the Facebook thread, have I ever asked a question through all of OMG? Ever. I didn't ask where a video was, but we'll get to you guys later. I didn't ask for any of that. I figured it out. All the information was already in there. You have the most complete set of information on earth. And as I said before, it turned me into a $6 million a year man. And you can't scrap up $1,000 a day or take the time to finish the information. You're not going to be successful. So I'm going to ask you this. Are you going to keep making excuses about why you can? I don't want to hear about that you're married, you got kids, you got a job. Shannon has a child and she has a job and she's busting her ass. She's already got all of her PBNs up. She's got all this other stuff. Gregory Ortiz worked a 60-hour-a-week job, found a way to get the training done. I don't want to hear about your excuses about what you got, because we all got them. We all do. Be ashamed of yourself. Come to me crying to me why you're not making $10,000 a month when you act like you don't deserve anything. Gregory showed us all how to get it done. And I still think Gregory works harder than I do. That's how it gets done. There's none of us on this webinar right now that are just sitting back and just sitting on our laurels. Derek is continuing to push the boundaries of what we can find with SEO. I'm continuing to pass limits and everything of what income can be made in SEO. Fletch is doing stuff that, I mean, I'd never even heard of what he was doing until I got in his office. It's like, that's kind of crazy. Never heard of that before. Fletch is pushing the boundaries on stuff. Stephen Floyd is. Greg Mertz, we all are. What are you doing? Waiting on us? Well, the information's inside of OMG. So, guys, please, till you dig in, I ain't got no help for you. Just like Steven said, you come to me and you're already on part 2 or 3 trying to figure something out, and you don't understand it. God, listen, I can't figure out what the A record is when I'm trying to set this up in my hosting. Oh, sure, well, let me show you. I know that you're stuck on a step and you're learning. I'm more than happy to help you. But don't come to me and ask me to just give you something. It's ridiculous. So we've spent enough time on this one. I think you know where we all stand on it. We're going to go to the next one. I'm going to let Steven take over this one. Steven, how is this stopping people from making $30,000 a month?
Oh, man. Yeah, I didn't know which one you were going to give me, but I sure love this one. So, guys, this is, all of these tie into each other. We could make a nice flow chart out of this, a nice diagram and show how all of these different things interlink together. But this may be one of the worst of all. And, this is this paralysis by analysis thing. This is that perfectionist attitude. This is this, I have to know everything before I do anything kind of a deal. If you've gone through Greg Morrison's PBN training and you followed it, then just go do it. Just go do what he says. Don't worry about the 50,000 different things that could potentially go wrong in 6 months from now. So, again, I see a lot of this. Really, this is, you guys know I'm a therapist, a licensed therapist also. This is something that gets everybody, so many people at so many different points in their life. But it really, really, really gets people in here. And we understand that the volume of information can be overwhelming, when you first log into that back end, okay? We understand that. But I want you to think about it like this. If I were to take your college education, or let's even back it down a level. If I were to take your high school education, okay, and present it to you, every book, every lecture, every note, every, handout, every whatever, for the entire 4 years and show it to you in one room, it would blow your mind, right? It would completely blow your mind. You would shut down and you would just kind of, not be able to do anything, okay? The first thing that we told you was pick a path, okay? So, if you're having trouble with this, if this is you, if you're, thinking and way more than you're doing, then I'm going to tell you my advice, and I'd love to hear, of course, everyone else on this call's advice. My advice would be, number one, go through everything that Greg Morrison has ever put in OMG, okay? That's step number one, every video. And when you're pretty sure that, you've got it, then pick your path, okay? If you want to do client stuff, then move on to Cotton. If you want to do lead gen stuff, move on to Fletch. If you want to do one of the other, methods of monetization, then do that. But no matter what you do, start with Greg and know that you have the best training in the world. Getting foundational SEO training from Greg Morrison is like having Muhammad Ali teaching you your boxing lessons, right? I mean, he is literally got to be, the most respected, SEO, like, period, right? So, if this is you, then, watch all of Greg's stuff, pick your path, and then execute. You're going to learn more by trying to do stuff and failing than you are by trying to take 8 years to get everything exactly right. And I'll tell you what, if you were to see some of the people on this call's stuff, like some of their PBNs, I have seen some of them, just as an example, they're not freaking perfect. Far from it. But you know what? They get the job done, right? So, that's all I'm going to say on that. But, like, this is one of the ones in here that you can just make a decision to change today. You can leave this webinar and you can say, you know what, from now on, starting, August 13th, 2015, I refuse to be paralyzed. I refuse to not act. I'm going to draw a line in the sand, and I am going to take an action. Every day I'm going to do something. Every day I'm going to, take a video and then go execute it. However you want to slice it up. But what you'll see is those small wins, those small victories, this thinking will be like a joke to you in, 3, 4, 5 months. You'll look back at that person who was paralyzed and go, wow, man, I'm glad I made that decision on August 12th. And for everyone on this call, if that's you, I sincerely hope that you do that, because this, more than maybe anything else, can not just change your $30,000 a month income, it can change your life. Because if you're doing it here, you're probably doing it in other places too. So
great.
Thanks for letting me start.
Yeah, guys, I want to sum this up by this one thing. It's going to be very powerful. Done is better than perfect. Guys, I want every one of you on here. There's almost 400 of you. I want you to grasp what I'm saying. Done is better than perfect. A PB, guys, you don't understand how much stuff I just put up, and it turned out amazing. Action. I want to see everyone do this hashtag. Seriously. I want this to be drilled inside of your psyche. Done is better than perfect. Now, if you get it perfect,
I'm putting that on my personal wall.
Yeah, yeah. Done is better than perfect. Fletch, how true is that?
It's huge, Cotton. I'm glad that this was something that you decided to include tonight. There's a lot of people that I've talked to in OMG, and this is going to sound kind of strange, but who literally know more about the videos and everything else than me or some of the people who are very advanced, making $20,000 a month, and they haven't put up one site yet. And my office hours, there was a question that came up the other day, and it was about kind of how to balance how much time you're spending learning more with how much you're actually doing. And the way I look at it is, it's kind of like running a race where you're at the track, and the training is kind of like breathing. And if you sit at the starting line and you just do a lot of breathing, you're never going to win the race. You'll never even finish the race. The only training you need is what it takes for you to run as fast as you can go. So my recommendation is to get enough of the training so that you can take action, imperfect or not, and then only go back to the training when you need to, so that you don't need to think you have to absorb or learn or even watch all the training videos that we have. That's not necessary. It's very counterproductive. So the wealth of data and information that we have in there is not for everybody. It should not be for everybody. It's just there so that the people who it is for can have access to it. So, if you can put yourself as much as possible on a diet of that stuff, in all likelihood that will also help with you thinking you have to do it all. If you haven't watched a video on how to, do XYZ strategy for, ranking in the 7-pack or the snack pack that we have now, you're not going to be distracted by thinking, oh, well, I got to do that too, and I got to do this too, and I got to do that too. And you wind up just completely paralyzed because you don't know which one to do first.
Great. Derek, with SEO, is this not one of the keys to success?
Yeah, I mean, like the way that we have our training set up in OMG is you should just be focusing on just the one thing you're really trying to accomplish right now. Like I haven't even looked at any of the Amazon stuff at all personally, or I don't even venture off too much into client getting stuff because I already have, I make my money other ways a lot of the time. So just being able to pick and focus that was one of the hardest things for me to do, because I get easily distracted as well, like a lot of people. I mean, even just drinking a crap load of coffee every day and just sticking to exactly what I'm just drilling down into my skill, and then just trying to be the best at that one thing only. So there's no need for me to venture off into Amazon, even though it's super tempting. You know, it looks pretty cool. It's a new flashy toy for me, but it's my time is so much better being served just doing SEO right now.
Mm-hmm. Great. You know, we have a comment on here that says, when I build my airplane, done is not good enough when my life is in the air. Well, good for you. We're not building airplanes. We're not doing heart surgery. And we're certainly not saving lives. What we're doing is we're doing SEO. That's what we're talking about. And when someone is making $500,000 is giving you advice, you take it or you don't. You don't. When someone like Fletch is telling you he's going to be at $500,000 and he's almost at 100, when we're giving you advice, listen. This is the attitude that I'm talking about. When we're telling you that SEO does not have to be perfect, that you can still make a ton of money, that's what we mean. Listen to what we're telling you. It does not have to be perfect. It doesn't. You're not getting it. Guys, if my SEO had to be perfect, oh my God, I would have never made any money. It was horrendous. My PBNs were set up horribly when I first did it, but you know what? It worked and it was effective. And that's what I'm getting ready to say. We're not putting airplanes in the air. We're not sending rockets to outer space. We're ranking on Google. Let's not think we're doing anything that important. I'm telling you right now that getting your PBNs up and going right now, and the experience you're going to get from just getting it done is going to be way more valuable than you sitting on the sidelines wondering what it's like to get a PBN up. You can always go back and correct it. Guys, it's a $15 mistake. You're not ruining someone's life, and you're not killing someone. That's what I'm talking about. That's the experience you're going to get from done. So what I'm trying to say, don't get perfect, just get it done. Get it done the best you can by the training side by side that you're looking at, and get it done. Guys, we learn from hands-on experience. That's how I learned to put up my PBNs. I had a video up, I had it over here, I did it side by side, and I did it. Was it perfect? No, but it got done. And guess what? It made me a lot of money. Then I got perfect at it later. That's what I'm trying to tell you about SEO. So guys, just get rid of this mentality that you got to be perfect when you're starting. I just want to see you complete something. I get so proud when I see new people say, hey, look, I got my money side up. And I'll go look at it. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. But it makes me proud because they took action. And I know that person's going to make money, because you want to know what? How easy is it to change the theme and add some content? They're already 95% there.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
It's that quick. How many times have we seen Greg change the titles and the content, or Derek do it? Derek showed us on a webinar after credits, changing a few words around. He corrected it. Kaboom. It went number one. Derek made it perfect afterwards. And that's what I'm trying to get in your head about SEO. Listen to us, please. Get it up. Get it done. It doesn't have to be perfect. Derek and Fletch and every one of us have shown we've went in and corrected things, and we've made it perfect afterwards. That's why. So that's what I've got to say about that. So guys, don't get paralyzed with too much information. Just get it done. Don't worry about it being perfect. The next one, unfortunately, I'm going to start this one. I'm going to let everyone go afterwards. This is too wonderful for me to pass up. It just is. Guys, the main reason, how many of you guys go into our Facebook group and you see the same people posting answers, but you never stop to ask, where do you rank? Where is your income report? You ever think about that?
Hashtag show me the money.
Yeah. Guys, I want you to give me a 1 if that's ever crossed your mind. How do you have so much time to answer all these questions? And by the way, where do you rank at? And how much money do you make? Give me a 1 if you've ever thought that. The same damn people. answering the same questions all over again. Or you got people selling products inside of OMG that rank nowhere, that make no money, that's leeching off the group. They're like, oh, well, I'll just sell stuff to OMG and feed my family. How many of you seen that? And why don't you ask them, where's your rankings at? People that are coaching that make no money. None. It's embarrassing. They might make 10K a month. I make that every 6 hours. And you're not asking them, where is your rankings? Where is your money? Guys, this is your time. Why are you so trusting? Make people prove to you what's going on. It blows my mind. And you listen to it. And, they want to be a guru. And here's the thing. You'll get inside the Facebook group and you'll tag Fletch or Stephen Floyd, and 40 people will answer it instead of waiting for Fletch to answer it. And guess what? That whole thread, you're all wrong when you answered it. Do you really think we're going to come in and blow the whole thread out and embarrass everyone? We're just going to ignore it. Have you noticed that the coaches are absent from answering questions at OMG? Give me an amen if you've noticed it. They're absent. Literally, I want to see you get on Facebook, and if you've noticed that we don't answer hardly any questions anymore, I want you to give me a hashtag amen. I'm going to tell you why. Because we have people that are more worried about getting accolades, and looking cool than they are going out making money. Because I'm going to tell you, I don't have time. Now, I'm paid to answer questions in the Facebook group, a lot of freaking money. A lot of money, trust me. More money than any one of you will probably ever make at SEO. So is Fletch. That's it. We're the only two people in this webinar that paid to answer questions. But let me ask you this. We don't like embarrassing people. So if I get tagged, why are you answering? Do you know more than me? Are you going to argue with me? Are you going to tell me that my client getting method isn't right, like I've seen some people do? When I'm making more in one day than I make more in 1 week than this person that argued with me made all 8 months. And he's arguing with me, telling me that I'm wrong. So my whole question is, you're trying to be a guru. You're trying to ask your questions that you have no damn clue what you're talking about. And it's irritating. It's irritating to Fletch, Joe Martfolio, Stephen Floyd, and everyone else. The people to Derek that have the real answers. That's why we don't go in there anymore, because all these other OMGers think they're SEO experts and they're not making a nickel. Where's your money at? Show me your rankings. Do you know that there's less than 6 people in OMG that hold #1 positions at city SEOs of major metropolitan areas? And you got people in there answering like they're the next Jesus of SEO. It's amazing. So acting like a guru is what's not going to get it there. I need you guys to start calling people out. Especially, guys, listen, if someone is selling something in OMG, where's your rankings at? If they're coaching, where's your rankings? Where's your income? Show me. I don't care if you're giving good advice. I can go and copy and paste that from the Black Hat forums. Stop being so trusting. They're not paid to answer these questions. Ask yourself this. How do they have this much time to answer these questions in the group? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? So that's what I have to say about that. That's why you're not seeing coaches answering questions in OMG, because you'll have people that don't have a clue trying to answer the question. And I don't feel like embarrassing 12 people and telling them that they're wrong. That's why. It's pretty sad. So, and the second part to this, let's move over to this. Is it this? Too much time on Facebook. Guys, I'm going to be honest with you. If it weren't for that OMG group, I would never even be on Facebook. I just think it's a virus. Now, I understand that there's valuable information to get on there, and there's this and that, but guys, literally, the people that are asking questions on Facebook, the people that are asking the questions on Facebook and the people that are answering them aren't the people that you want to be getting the information from. Now, generally, how I got to become a partner of OMG is simple. I didn't answer any question inside the group. I personal message people. Now, I don't know why people feel that if Stephen Floyd's tagged that they can answer better than Stephen Floyd. But guys, tell me this. If that annoys you when you ask Fletch a question and certain people answer it for Fletch, that doesn't annoy you, give me a hashtag annoy. I mean, I like really, in all honesty, if I'm out of place here where, you know, if I ask Stephen Floyd a question, I want Stephen Floyd to answer it. If I want Fletch and I tag Fletch, I want Fletch to answer it. I want Fletch to answer that question. If I tag Gregory Ortiz, I want Gregory. I don't want it answered by I don't know, Billy something, Campbell, whoever that is, I don't know. I just made up a name. I don't want that. But guys, we need your help because you feed these egomaniacs that are trying to be a guru, that are trying to push a product, but they're trying to do a little bitty software they're going to sell for $50 so they can feed their family because they're not going to go out and get clients or put up an affiliate site or anyone else. You know, let me just sell to OMG. Let me just sell to them and I'll get my money. Guys are raping you when you're letting it. I mean, it literally angers me. That's why I'm annoyed right now, and that's why a lot of you are not at $30,000 a month. You're getting the wrong information from the wrong people and you're trusting it instead of asking it. Asking, where do you rank? How much money do you make?
Hey, Cotton.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this one's one I'm sure we're going to be on for a while. You know, if you're in this group, and this is such a small percentage of people, guys, that I'm talking right now, it's so small. I don't even know how small it is, the percent. But if you join OMG on Monday, okay, and on Wednesday you're posting threads every 5 minutes, hey guys, look at this cool new trick I just figured out. Okay, a couple of things. Number one, I know you haven't gone through our training yet, right? And number two, it blows me away. It absolutely makes my mind melt that when these people who, you know, no one knows anything about come in and they show some little something, again, with no proof, no, you know, nothing, that, you know, they get, you know, a Facebook full 8,000 comments, you know, awesome, that's great, cool, with all these questions. You know, Cotton, I don't even know what to do with that. You know, a couple of times I've jumped in when it's been obviously bad information and tried to say, hey, you know, maybe you should think about this. But frankly, I see that crap and I just want to just ignore it. I just want to just move on and just say, well, you know, I guess I hope that the people who, you know better, you know, don't go try to do that. I hope you don't take this one, quote, great piece of advice and go, you know, blow up your client's site with it. You know, but, you know, it all goes back to, you know what Cotton's saying. You know, if you're in the group and you're trying to make your living off of the group, you know, and you're not actually in the group, right? I mean, you know, an actual coach or whatever, you know, we know what you're doing. We know when you're working the room, you know, we know all these things. We weren't born yesterday, okay? You know, we know how, you know, someone buys something from you and you pay them to, you know, leave a comment for you 8,000 times in the group. You know, we know all the tricks, guys. We're marketers, right? We're all professional marketers. Do you really think that you're going to come into a group like OMG and, you know, and try to, you know, and that's the other thing, and, you know, this is, you know, in Cotton, you know.
Let me answer this question very, very, very quickly because I'm getting a lot of places. Thought anyone doing in there was approved by Mike, gatekeeping, or whatever. Guys, anyone can sell an OMG right now. We haven't set the rules yet that no one can. If it hasn't been on a simulation webinar, I don't endorse it. I endorse all the Network Empire stuff, and if it's been on a simulation webinar, I endorse it. All these other little side projects that are going on, I do not endorse. That is just me. I speak for me. I know SEO, and I have a lot of rankings to prove that I know SEO, and I make more money than anyone else at it. If you hear me endorse it, it'll only be on a simulation webinar. If they've never made it on here, it's because I don't endorse it. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. So you can take and read however you want to know in that. That's why I have Derek on here, Fletch, Gregory, Everyone that I'm on here, we all trust each other 100%. Guys, I'm just telling you, that's why I'm trying to take all that stuff to source market or to source whatever that is so they can sell it over there so we don't have to look at it. So there's a lot of people, and I'm really just going to be done with it. It's a real touchy subject, and we've already almost said too much. I'm going to let Fletch say his piece about it, and we're going to move on to the next one if he wants to say anything else.
I mean, this one I think has been covered probably enough. Just getting back to the amount of time people spend on Facebook is, I think it's even time worse spent than watching too many training videos. I mean, you're constantly bombarded with distractions. Even if they're, pretty in line with SEO or money getting on the internet, they, in all likelihood, are going to be very far from exactly where you are. Now, that said, I think everybody, maybe once a day or every couple days should read through the last, probably 20 threads that get on there, because there's a lot of really good stuff that happens, and that's kind of a way to spend some valuable time either, connecting with other OMGers or kind of short tracking your own learning process, understanding some questions that may come up for you later on. But as far as just keeping the thing open, it's a very, very, it's a vampire that will suck your time and attention, and you've only got so much to go around. Don't work your ass off and spend long hours and then have this, constant, distraction that's sitting there all the time, just sucking your energy and your ability to make money with this stuff.
Great. And for like those of you, I'd like to put a link to my personal Facebook group in there. If you want to ask me questions directly, I like to know that Joe's in there, Steven's in there, I'll add Fletch. If any one of the coaches, if someone isn't approved and answers the question, just boot them from the group. My personal group, so there's no affiliation towards OMG with it. I want to be able to ask anyone in OMG, I want to be able to ask me questions at any point in time. And I don't want 1,000 people answering it underneath it, so it doesn't get blown out. So I think we've covered that enough. We'll just move to the next one. And there's another one. Fletch, I'll let you take this one.
Yeah, this is one that I think is a problem in society, and it's just for whatever reason, because I'm in a position now where somebody thinks that I've got something that they don't have, thinks that they can either take it or that they have the right. This politically, it goes very, very deep. Just on a personal level, if you come in and you think somebody else, you think you own somebody else, or that they owe you something based on some convoluted thought you've got, in all likelihood you're wrong. And the best thing that's going to come out of that is that they're going to save the time of actually helping you if you come at them this way. So if somebody comes to you and says, hey, you were supposed to be a coach in OMG, and I sent you this message on Facebook last week and you haven't returned it, what's going on? This isn't what I paid for. Is that ever going to lead to a good situation? I mean, not only is it a horrible attitude, it's dumb. You're never going to get somebody that truly wants to help you and freely helps you by coming at it that way. All the coaches were chosen not only because they are very good at what they do, but because we generally have a very helpful attitude toward everybody that doesn't say, I demand this of you. So if this is something that you've maybe crossed the line with or even thought about, please rethink it. It will hurt you most. Us, it's a lot easier for us to turn you off and not pay attention to any more requests that come at us, along those lines, than it is for you to find somebody else that you can get the best information on the world from.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in this. I'm going to turn it over to a couple of the ones. One of the things when I'm talking about an entitled attitude, guys, is look, you're paying for the information, and I get that. You've got the information. What I don't understand is what makes you think that your time is more valuable than mine. Why would you ask me, when you have your shot to ask me questions, where to find Greg's video at? Why would you post in the Facebook group that you can't find something, but yet someone else's time is less valuable than yours. You see, you're asking me to be your VA. You're asking OMGers to be your VA. That's what I call an entitled attitude. When you come in here and assume that we owe you something, we've already given it to you by the information. It's right there. All you have to do is utilize it. But too many times I see people post in the Facebook group, I'm not going to pull up any right now, I can't find this video. Well, look for it. That's what I did. Well, you know, it blew my mind, even when I was at Assimilation over the weekend. I'm not going to name names or do anything, but I was working with Fletch, and the guy messaged me, and he said, hey, I took off work, and I want to hang out with you guys. Well, Fletch and I were working. And I was like, well, Assimilation's not until tomorrow at 7:30. He goes, I took off work. Why won't you see me? So when I ran into him, his answer to me was, why did you make me feel like I was a stalking girlfriend? Entitled attitude. I don't owe him anything. I'm there on my own dollar. No one's paying me to travel. No one's paying me to do these assimilation webinars. No one's doing anything. It was way before then. He didn't set up anything we did. Guys, it happens more times than you would think. Like people, like I said earlier, just messaging me saying, listen, can you write down your script on, can you give me your video of, can you give me one of your client videos of how you're doing your video proposals? That's entitled. Do your own. Why do you need mine? I mean, I'm not doing enough. I mean, and I haven't even talked to you. There's a way you can ask where I'll help anybody. Hey, Cotton, I really appreciate your time and everything else. Listen, I was wondering if you could help me kind of give me some pointers on doing some video proposals so I could kind of get better at it, because I know you're good at it. Oh, sure. Man, I'm all over it. I'm going to help you this today. But when I get a message, it comes through, and when it says, can you give me your video proposal? Well, thanks, but no. It gets all about the presentation. So, guys, get humble. Know that you're going to have to dig down, get dirty, and get to work. And that we're not going to be your VAs, and we're not going to give you shortcuts. For you to go up to Fletch and tell Fletch, listen, can you give me an outline of all of your lead gen process because I want to get it together tomorrow? And literally, I've had people tell me, like, they'll message me, just saying, hey, I really need you to call me because I have to close this client tomorrow. Well, you guys seem to forget I'm running an agency and I'm doing OMG. And I get to personal questions when I can get to them. And I want to be able to get to everybody. But when someone says that, listen, you need to hurry up and get back to me. I've got to talk to these people tomorrow. It's crazy. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, you bought into OMG, but you didn't buy me. I mean, I'm going to be as nice to you as you're nice to me, and I'm respectful to everyone. I love helping people. But guys, a little manners will go a long way. And that entitled attitude is going to hurt you with clients. It's going to hurt you with your websites. It's going to hurt you with your life. Get humble. No one owes you anything. No one does. And once you start thinking like that, you might be more successful. That's not all of you. I'm just talking about some of you, and that's why we're covering these topics. Get humble and get ready to work. That's all you need to do. Stephen, you have anything you want to add to this one?
Yeah, I mean, really to echo exactly what you said and what Fletch said, I get blind private messages, like I'll do an assimilation webinar, and I'll get random blind private messages from people I don't know who don't even have the common courtesy to say, hey, Stephen, I'm Joe Smith from OMG, and, I really appreciated your training last night. I know your time is valuable, or I know you're probably busy, but I had a question about blank. I mean, I'll get a private message that'll pop up that'll say, send me your proposal, or I don't know, just random questions. And, like you said, honestly, this is just a matter of common courtesy. If you come at me like that in any aspect, I'm pretty much just going to ignore you. and if you do it multiple times, I'm probably going to block you. So yeah, a lot of this has to do with, really just how you approach people. I am very aware of how valuable Cotton's time is, and Fletch and all the other coaches. And when I ask for their time, you can bet that the way I ask, and these are my friends, but the way I ask is, like I'm saying, kind of to do it, back to me. I don't say, hey, Cotton, I got a big deal that closes in an hour. I'm not prepared. Can you wave your magic wand for me over the phone so I'll get the deal? A week or two before that pitch, if I need help, I'll send him a message or leave him a voicemail and say, hey, when you're available, if you have the time, I'd appreciate you helping me look at this. So definitely, please, in Cotton, man, what you said at the beginning about they're making you their VA, I never even thought about it that way. I mean, it really is. I mean, guys
No, they literally believe that their time is more valuable than mine, and they want me to go search a video for them. It blows my mind.
Where else in the world can you, like Alex, bless his heart, Becker, he gets 1 billion PMs a day, and people get angry when he doesn't respond to them sometimes, or whatever. But if Alex responded to every PM he got, he wouldn't be able to work. He would be paralyzed, with inaction. But, in OMG, I mean, where else in the world do you have direct access to people who are at the very top of their field? I mean, it's so rare, that you have that, and you have it here. And I can't even imagine, presuming, for something like that, to ask Cotton, hey, Cotton, where's this video or something? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I hope that this is something, I hope this has made sense. I hope it's not, hopefully we've given you like a roadmap of what to do, along with what we're asking you to please not do, So a lot of it has to do with how you approach us, right? And do some work yourself. If you ask me what webinar did I teach this or that on, I have no clue. So please stop asking.
I get
that. I get that. I swear to you guys, I swear on a Bible right now, I probably get at least 10 to 15 PMs a day from OMG people asking me, hey, you did a webinar on blank topic, where was that? Or when was that? I don't have a cheat sheet.
I don't either. I have no idea what webinar's on what. I swear to Jesus, I don't.
Maybe someone should make one. I don't know, but I don't have one. No. I have trouble remembering what I did yesterday. Much less what I did on a webinar on February.
Yeah.
So anyway.
I mean, it's all in there. So either way.
But watch all of them. That's the thing. And sorry, but I don't know. I hope this isn't one of the later ones. But this is one of those things we've said over and over again. When someone in the group asks me like, which webinar was that on? I just say go watch all of them.
Yeah.
I have not wasted 1 second on any assimilation webinar. You just don't. If you're not watching them, you're missing out on something.
I agree. Well, I'm going to consider this topic covered. We're going to move on to the next one. And the next one is going to be one of my favorites, taking shortcuts. And I'm just going to talk a little bit. I'm going to toss it out there. Guys, to me, if you want another quote from me, taking shortcuts is the #1 way to failing at SEO. It just is. If you don't go in and learn the fundamentals, Derek, can anyone learn how advanced you are at SEO by taking a shortcut to get to you?
No, I mean, there's building blocks that you have to learn just to even understand it. I mean, I get this all the time, though. It's just people are like, oh, I can't rank for this, and I'm like, well, what did you send to it? It's like, 3 PBNs. I really want a really cool tactic that you're using right now. It's like, come on. It's like, I built all my rankings in the beginning with just PBNs, or now I can just do it with DAS and, sorry, my dog's howling.
Oh, that's good.
She's itchy.
Wow. Your dog's cool, man. Your dog feels your pain, and so do I.
Go upstairs. She's got itchy skin.
But Derek, should like anyone even come to you and even offer advanced training if they don't have a very solid grasp of just
No,
fundamental?
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. It's just they don't even understand what it is I gave it to them. It's just I can give them a lot of people a new tactic, and it just ends up being thousands of questions following up because they don't have the basic building blocks to even understand what was going on. It's just taking shortcuts is usually just going to end up being the long way. It's not a shortcut after all. It's because you
Exactly.
end up destroying everything.
Exactly. Fletch, what do you think about taking shortcuts in SEO?
Well, I think it's one of the things that probably keep people from getting to 30K, which is kind of the whole frame for this webinar, right? So, when I said it's really get to $5,000 or $10,000 a month with SEO, it is. If there are things you can do to literally, push some buttons and just follow some instructions without understanding it and get to those levels. But if something changes in the world of SEO or something changes in the world of business, or you need to go back and revisit something that you did 3 months ago, you're going to be completely unable to adjust to it because you don't understand what you've done. And really the way that Greg has laid out all the SEO training, and that Cotton and I both talk about, I do a lot of Q&A with the SEO side of it on my office hours. It's not only to tell you what to do, but why to do it, so that as you continue to do this more and more, you become an SEO. You don't use SEO to make money. There's a difference. So I think that one of the biggest shortcuts that most people want is, hey, I want to just do this without understanding it because I want the money from it. And in all likelihood, that's probably one of the reasons that you're not getting the money with it, because you're trying to, really shorten up the distance between you and the money. The thing with really life in general is that if you are the kind of person that can rank websites and you do that on a regular basis, the money will come. It's the only thing that can come of that skill applied. What most people wind up trying to do, though, when they come in, if they don't have that attitude, is they try to get the results without the training. And that just doesn't work. It doesn't work anywhere. If it does happen one time in 1,000, it's pure luck, and it will do nothing but make you, crazy the rest of your time here, because you won't know how you got it, and you'll worry that you'll lose it. So really going through the steps to not only learn, but to implement and then to understand is really what we seek for everybody here. It's the thing that's not only going to make you the most money, it's going to make your life the best. It's also the thing that's going to continue to build this community the right way, so that when there is a question in there, 6 months from now or a year from now, and you are making $30,000 a month, you can speak from experience on it. As far as I'm concerned, everybody's here, personal development wise or whatever, we're here to learn a skill. And probably multiple skills, one of them being SEO, another one the ability to make money with SEO. Those are the skills you need to develop, not the results. Closing a client is not what you're seeking. You're seeking to develop the skills necessary to do that, because if you have those skills, you can get the result anytime you want. So that's what you should not try to fast forward or skip over, the development of those skills.
Great. I'm going to extrapolate out a little bit more. I'm going to throw it over to Stephen, because we're like getting some questions, and they're very valid questions. We had a question. It says on his question, how can you take shortcuts while making sure it's done rather than perfect? And the reason is this. What I really meant by taking shortcuts is I'm going to give you guys the biggest secret to get to 30K. The biggest secret. You don't need any other ranking method than what Greg is showing you. That's it. You don't need to be going out buying PBN tumbler scrapers. It's a waste of time. You don't need to even be thinking about, I don't even want to hear you say the word DAS until you know how to effectively rank with PBNs. That's the problem. You want a shortcut. You think Fletch, you think Greg, you think Steven or Gregory Ortiz. We've all got this secret handshake or this magic dust that we blow on our sites. But there's something that we're doing that if you find out what it is, your whole world's going to be better. When in reality is, it's not. We're doing it. You know what? And I'm probably never going to say this again. Literally, if you just do what Greg shows you how to do, you rank. Guys, there's an Iowa City SEO over-the-shoulder series where we kind of show it, and you ignore it, and you want to chase what you think is a magical answer that doesn't exist. You chase every software that comes out and think that that's going to be the answer, that's going to give you the edge. I don't use any software. I don't. Imagine that. So what I've done, if you want to know one of the key secrets that I've done in being successful, and as much money as I've made, is I don't take shortcuts. I do everything the hard way. And learning it the very difficult way, then I learned what I can remove to move faster after I've mastered it. So that's what it means. It means is when we're saying done's better than perfect, it means is get that site up. Get your PBN up. It doesn't really matter how, just get it up. But taking a shortcut is messaging Derek, saying, Derek, listen, I need you to show me how to manipulate trust flow. And if Derek asked you how many PBNs that you've got up, you say, well, I've got up 3. If there was an eject button, Derek would hit it. Guys, there are a couple things I'm going to share with the shortcut stuff that's very valuable to you. When someone asks me, Cotton, I'm not ranking, Cotton, I'm not making any money, there's certain questions I ask. How many hours are you working? How much are you linking out? And generally it stops after those 2 questions. I don't have to get to anything else. I generally find out that they're not generally spending any time working, trying to get clients, or they're not spending an adequate amount of time investing into learning or into taking action with what they're doing. And secondly, and Derek will be able to assess this, a little Fletch, a little Steven, it drives us nuts. This is normally the second problem. Cotton, I can't get past page 3. Okay. But when's the last time you've linked out to your site? I don't know, like 2 weeks ago? That's why. How many PBNs do you have? 4? 4? What are you going to do with 4? Well, I don't know. I just haven't bought anymore. Okay. Or I'll get, well, how many PBNs do you have? Well, I've got 20, but only 8 are set up. And you're asking me why you're not ranking? Guys, common sense. Look, if you know nothing about SEO, nothing at all, let's just say that you're just not that bright. I can tell you this, you don't stop linking until you get to where you want to go. Period. That's common sense. It's not perfect, but it's common sense. So that's what it is. So when you're asking why am I stuck on page 3, when's the last time? I mean, if you're not sending out a minimum of 2 links a week, there's something wrong. Literally. That's what the problem is. That's taking a shortcut. That's assuming that, oh, look, I just sent 4 PBNs to it. Nothing happened. But I'm trying to rank for SAT prep course. I didn't even crack page 23. Well, are you kidding me? I mean, guys, stop. Stop with the craziness. Please, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. All of you need to make a commitment to go back through and watch everything that Greg has done with the 4 pillars. Go back and watch Stephen Floyd's new module about how to set up your PBNs properly. Get as many PBNs set up as you possibly can and don't stop linking until you hit to where you're supposed to be. I don't want to hear I haven't linked out in 3 weeks. I haven't got all my PBNs set up. You know what I'm talking about. You really do. I don't want to hear, well, I'm only working 3 hours a day. I mean, guys, if you're feeling what I'm saying, and you know what I have, give me a hashtag understand. But because that's what this taking shortcuts is right here. It's literally you believe that there's some magical thing that we're doing and we're not. We're just doing as simple as possible. And if you could ask Fletch or Stephen Floyd or even Gregory Ortiz, when we start stripping away the complexity, one of the best things I tell people about SEO is if it sounds complicated, don't do it. Because how Greg teaches you still works. I mean, that's just it. Guys, how hard is it? You set up the PBN, you link it out, or you link it to a social property, and you link it to the money. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's that easy. I don't get it. I don't get it. Stephen, I'll let you continue.
And I don't even know what to say after that. That was the best 5 minutes in a long, long time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you should probably just drop the mic and end the webinar. If that just one thing got through, it'd be worth, 10 times what OMG cost. You mentioned something earlier, about, Derek's level and his coaching. The shortcuts thing, guys, what I see a lot is, I'll use like a Formula One race car, right? You're at the track, you see, I'm not a big fan, but Earnhardt, I guess, at one point, right, was a great race car driver, right? He's in his car, you're seeing him go, and you're like, oh man, look at him kicking butt. If I just had that car, then I could kick butt like him, right? And that's how a lot of people see this, right? And they're like, if I just had that car, but if you just jumped in that car and you didn't have his skills and you didn't go through what he went through, all you do is probably wreck and kill yourself, And so, trying to do what Derek does without understanding what Greg does and having used it and had some success with it is kind of the same thing. Guys, Derek is wicked smart. Okay, the stuff that he does, like Cotton said, I mean, there's very few people alive that can do what he does. And I'll tell you, if I was going to get coaching from anyone in OMG, I would get it from Derek because he has a skill set, frankly, that I don't have. I'd pay big bucks, right, to learn what Derek knows. But I know what Greg knows because I've gone through the training. I've had years of experience, and so, that's that 1% kind of a deal. So, the shortcut in reality is OMG, period. OMG is the shortcut. There's no more concise, basic, straightforward, simple way to do what we're doing than what Cotton, said for the last 3 to 5 minutes. I challenge you, do what Greg does and don't get what Greg gets, the results. I challenge you. I've never seen it happen. I do exactly what Greg does pretty much, and I rank pretty much anything I want. So does Cotton, so does Fletch, so does everyone on this call. Again, it's not rocket science. It's consistent action, on the basics. So anyway, sorry, I don't want to take too much time, but that was really great, Cotton. That was really, really good. I don't know if someone's on mute.
Yeah, I don't know if I stepped
muting myself.
No. I'll build a little bit on what you said, Stephen.
Yeah,
people,
I must be on mute.
A lot of times. Oh, you there?
Yeah.
Let me just say this one thing on the shortcuts.
Sure.
I'm 2.5 years into this, and this week I set up 14 PBN sites myself. So it's not about getting this place where you don't have to do the work anymore. Yeah, I still do the work. That's why I'm still connected to how this all works, how to do it properly, and I can continue to teach it. You should not avoid the work. You should do the work. That's what's going to actually get you where you want to go. I got people trained that help me out, but that's just for scale. It's not so I can, no longer do SEO.
And if you can't stay in it, like Fletch is saying, you can have 800,000 VAs, but like I've said before, you have to be able to inspect what you expect, right? if Fletch isn't in the game doing it and getting his, knees, bloody, every day in the grind, how's he going to know, right? How's he going to be able to check on the work of these the people that, are working for him? You can't ever get out. You're always going to be in if you're going to be winning.
Totally agree. Just totally agree with everything. That's why I still do everything myself. I don't want to be a fraud. Everything I teach, I want to know exactly what I'm doing, and I continually get better at it. And I can't find better, more efficient ways to do it if I'm handing it off to someone that's in another country. And that's where we start pushing the envelope on things with SEO client getting other stuff. Guys, do you really believe that if Fletch outsourced everything and he did nothing and he just took his hands off of it, Fletch would almost be obsolete in a year? And then Fletch knows that too. But guys, it's the mind of Fletch that keeps pushing the boundaries on what we do, finding new ways to set up PBNs, finding new ways to do this. That's because Fletch is in it. He's in it. And, and it's almost like going to a university. And the reason that I've never stepped one day in college, and this is just my reason, I don't have anything against college. My reason was I was 18 years old. I took my parents' company from 0 to 13 million at 19 years old. And I said to myself, what are they going to teach me? These guys are frauds. If they were so great at running a business, they would have done what I did. They're wannabes. And that's not what OMG coaches are. We're living, breathing, and talking. And we're doing. We're not professors. Derek is one of the top SEOs on this planet. And he doesn't do it by theory. He does it by living and breathing it. That's why. And that's why you have the best coaching money can buy. And it goes back to the other thing. You block the coaches, you block the information because other people are trying to be gurus. But all great points. All great points, but remember, there's nothing wrong. So hopefully I answered your question when you said, what's the difference from better, taking a shortcut but done perfect? That's because you're doing it side by side with what Greg's doing. Don't do DAS if you don't have Greg's stuff down. Don't be putting tumblers up thinking they're going to substitute PBNs because they're not. It's ridiculous. So just do what Greg does. I did, and I think I rank in a few places. I'm not sure. Next one up. Here we go. Flash, I'm going to let you lead off with this one too.
Yeah. This is okay. So like, there's this this like Skyfall update, right? This thing where Google's going to be tracking traffic and how much people are actually flowing through links and what IPs you visited and everything, and your entire network's going to get de-indexed, right? This is not something that currently has happened to anyone that I know of. And I still spend a great deal of my time answering the question about how to use Foxy Proxy and all these other kinds of things. So I'm not saying that that's not something good to be aware of or even good to use, but people are afraid of it and they're scared of it, even though, to my knowledge, nobody that I know of has ever lost a site because they visited, a PBN site or, a link source versus a link target.
Fletch, it happened to Randy and that Black Hat group last week. It happened to him.
I'm sure that was the only thing that, the only common denominator there was the fact that he visited the site then. Yeah. But, and I say that a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but, there's a lot of people that are worried about things that they haven't done. Oh, well, and I was that way a little bit too. But, I thought that as soon as I built a link that would rank up my website, that Google was going to come and knock on my door and say, hey, we caught you. Now, you've got to change careers or something like that. Fear is fear. It's not fear of anything specifically. So what you probably do well to do is to just get over the fact that you've got fear, that it's making you decide to do things or not do things. So just plan on living with it. It's not going to go away. I know of no one who doesn't have fear, but just say, it's not worth my time or effort to let it influence the decisions I make on, how I spend my day or do whatever I'm doing.
Great. Steven?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I second everything he just said. You know, this, when I read this one, honestly, what I think of, and this may be a little bit of a different take, and Cotton, I know I'm gonna get an amen from you on this one.
Amen.
When,
Amen, brother. Before you
you know,
start.
when someone who is you know, doesn't have a single client is pressing me to find out how to scale from, you know, 40,000 a month to 50,000 a month, or you know, hey, you know, how do I manage this once I have 850, you know, clients? You know, when you have one client, you're really on your way to figuring out how to handle two clients. And when you have two clients, you're really solidly on your way to figuring out how to handle five. You know, and as you grow, you know, you're gonna have to expand, and you're gonna have to get better, and you're gonna have to get smarter and sharper and have new processes. But you can't go from 1 to 50 in a single bound, and there's no point in it. So, you know, again, like Fletch said, you know, you can kill yourself. It actually goes back to the paralysis by analysis, you know, too. It actually goes back to that same thing. So, you know, do what Greg does. That's it. I'll just leave it at that. It has to do with ranking. Do what Greg does. If it has to do with getting clients, do what Cotton does. If the way you get clients is through lead gen, do what Fletch does. Done. Just done. If Fletch isn't worrying about it, I'm not worrying about it.
Right. I hear you.
For sure.
You know what? I was just sitting here thinking, God, what's going to happen? Google just changed their name to Alphabet. How's that going to mess me up? God, they changed the 7-pack to the 3-pack. That's going to mess me up.
I got a course coming out tomorrow, Cotton.
Oh, my God. You know, this IPS network, they're like de-indexing stuff left and right. I wonder if it's going to hit my stuff. Oh, my God. Listen. Oh, my God. Cotton, what happens if I get 10 clients? I don't. How do you handle 100? You know, it's like I have 2 and I'm struggling right now. What do I do when you get to Cotton? Can you show me? Can you like have a 2-hour call with me? I like need to know. But what if I don't pick the right PBN? What if it's oh my God, if it's an exact match domain, or do I go branded? Oh my God, it's such a hard decision. Guys, are you kidding me? Do you think that any one of us sit around and worry about that sort of stuff at all? We don't. Guys, the number one thing, and it goes back to taking shortcuts, is don't create problems you don't have. You're paralyzed by your own fear. Remember, and it comes back to the following rule that I said, done is better than perfect. Guess what? If your site gets de-indexed, who cares? Put up another one. Who cares? I mean, literally. I mean, what if I have a client and I don't have any credibility? Well, it's good to think about, but you know what? Worry about it when that happens. So you can literally move as quickly as possible, but guys, don't create all these problems that you don't have. Almost every one of you, literally, when I talk to you, have one of these big giant fears. You know, it's like, well, what if I didn't set it up like Gregory said? Guess what? Or you know, like Steven put his up. Guys, I'm going to give you a little secret. I put mine up like I did a year ago, and they're sloppy, and they're not that good, and I'm still fine. Something tells me I'm making a little money. Now, would I prefer to have them up like Steven taught? Yeah. Am I worried about it? No. Guys, did you really see me concerned when CottonGrammar.com got turned in and got removed from all of its rankings? Absolutely not. Because you know what? I can't control it. But I got it back in 10 days. So my whole point is, it's back. Okay. Big deal. But guys, listen. Take action and don't worry about what's going to happen. 9 times out of 10, these problems that you have in your mind are never going to occur. They're never. You know, you sitting there posting, worrying about what's going to happen with the 7-pack moving to the snack pack and how it's going to affect your business. I'll give you a little secret. It's going to improve it. There's 4 people running around pretty upset right now.
Yep.
That's good for us. So what you think's a problem is actually an opportunity.
Exactly.
Google changing their name to Alphabet, I hope they move the whole damn search engine over somewhere else. That just means that I get to leave everyone else behind and be something expert at something that no one else is. Guys, there's always a positive in every negative. And that's what you got to do. But please, I want you guys to actually, if you're crystal clear on this, stop letting your mind stop you from doing things. Stop telling yourself that you're not good enough to do it. Stop telling yourself these are problems that you don't have. What if I can't do it? What if I can't rank? What if this? What if I link it wrong? Well, then you do. Okay. What about it? So guys, please, if you understand it, what I'm saying, give me a hashtag clear. I want to see this, that guys, please clear your head and just stop creating problems that you don't have. That is your fastest track to making $30,000 is just stop creating these problems in your mind. They're not there. And all these doom and gloom things that you think is going to happen, 9 times out of 10 they won't. Guys, you know what? I never sat around once and worried about if I was going to get a manual penalty on my site. And the worst possible thing did. I got one. Didn't let it bother me. And guess what? You're able to get it back. Guys, if I can get my site back, and I'm probably the poster child of OMG, they probably throw darts at my face. You're not going to get a manual penalty. That's what I'm saying. So please keep your head clear, work, and put all of these traits together that we're talking about and move forward. And you'll be fine. Yes.
So I've been around the game long enough to remember the doomsday. One of the doomsdays that I've been through as an SEO was when Google added the maps.
Oh my God, it's doomed.
You would have thought, listen, which is hilarious because again, it turned out to be so good for us, that now people are, sad that it's gone. But when it first came out, just like everything else, Chicken Little had the sky falling. Oh no, Google's going to ruin my business. SEO is dead, and listen, it doesn't matter. Let me say this crystal clear to everyone here. It doesn't matter what Google does. It doesn't matter what Google does. They can never beat a small group of intelligent people like this. Okay? They can't. They're never going to be able to beat us. You have to understand that Google can't afford to kill off millions of legitimate sites. Okay? So we're always going to be able to fight a guerrilla war, for lack of a better term. So again, spend less than 10 seconds per month worrying about this. If you need to worry, then go ahead and schedule it. I actually teach this in therapy. People who worry too much, one of the things I have them do, they actually have a set time every day to sit down and worry. And it might sound silly to you, but it actually works for people that this is a real issue for. But remember this one thing. It doesn't matter what they do. We are still going to win. Period. It's always been that way. It's always going to be that way.
Mm-hmm. Prime example, Firefly update. You know how many people we freaked out? Guys, we had to take that little site down. It was going viral.
Oh my God.
There were like people in Black Hat groups asking, what is this Firefly update? And you want to know what? Fletch, when Google set a subsidiary up and changed your name to Alphabet, how long did you literally lose sleep over it, or did you take a nap on it?
No, I read the headline. That was about as far into that information as I got.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? Greg Morrison always gives the best analogy, and Fletch and I do a lot of sales webinars together. And Greg brings up one of the best analogies. McDonald's is one of the most powerful companies in the world. They're just not going to change the Big Mac. I mean, they're just not. I mean, the Big Mac is the Big Mac. They're just not going to say, well, we're going to change the beef and we're going to put some turkey in there and no more Big Mac. They're not going to take the fries out. They're okay, no more potatoes. We're going to do sweet potatoes and just run it out across the board. They make little tiny incremental changes because it's what's always worked. And that is exactly what Google does. That's it. They can't ever take away links. I mean, it'd be so hard for them to do that. I don't know how they could. I mean, and even if they did, we're a long ways off from that. You can still bank. If I have made $4 million, I think, maybe more, I don't know, since I've started, how much can you make in the next year? Let's ask the SEO expert. Derek, do you think that Google is going to take away links in the next 24 months?
maybe tomorrow.
Oh my God.
No, yeah, it's you missed that update, you know.
Yeah.
I guess you didn't get that
Mm-hmm.
that email.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the way they're going to change maybe is they might diminish the value of anchor text a lot more, but I mean the links are always, it's always the number one way of sharing content, and that's Google is a link-based engine, so taking away links, it never worked out for the Russians. I don't think it's going to work out for Google either. So
Right. So there you go. So guys, you worrying about when the end's coming is ridiculous. So creating problems you don't have, get rid of that alone and just start taking action. You're closer to making $1,000 a day and $30,000 a month. We'll move on to the next one. This is one of them right here. Is we can either switch it around. You're not uncomfortable or you're too comfortable. And Steven, I'll let you start out with this one.
Yeah, this is a really good one. I don't like to give people too much if I don't have to, but this is one of those things that you'll hear like Tony Robbins and people like him talk about. If you're not uncomfortable, then you're not motivated to change. Okay. And Tony Robbins would say the pain versus pleasure, right? If you're not in some kind of pain, then you're not motivated to change. So, if you're not making $30,000 a month right now, let's say you're making $5,000, okay, then maybe you're fine. Maybe $5K a month. You're able to get your extra cheese on your hamburger at Burger King when you go, and you're able to get all the movie channels on cable. Maybe you really don't want $30,000 a month. Maybe it really doesn't matter to you. Maybe it sounds cool in your head, right, out loud, and maybe you'll watch a movie, Wolf of Wall Street or something. You'll be like, yeah, and you get temporarily motivated. But the reality may be that you're fine and dandy right where you are. You know what? And so that's one of those things where you're gonna need to look at yourself. If everything is awesome where you are, then you're not going to be motivated to change. So, this is where, again, I am going to steal this from Greg. Greg, remember why you started, right? Every single person that joined OMG, every person on this webinar joined because they weren't happy with where they were in their life in at least one area, which was finances. And at least that one area, every single person that's listening to me talk right now on this, at some point was extremely uncomfortable with their financial situation. And it could be all the way from literally, I'm getting services shut off, right, to, maybe I'm getting by, but I don't want to get by. Maybe I have kids and I want their life to be better than mine was. Maybe I'd like to have some choices in life, Maybe I'd like to have some opportunities, So, I would challenge you to look at yourself. Look at what you're doing. Maybe your lack of inaction or your lack of action is because you're just fine right where you are. And if that's the case, then really look at what you're doing and be honest with yourself. If you're making 10K and you're happy with it, then keep doing what you're doing, man, and be happy. But if you really want more, if you really want, that extra level, and I'll tell you, and I hope this doesn't go off topic too far, but from a not being selfish standpoint, if I were to just stay where I was comfortable, I would have stopped a long money time ago. I got to tell you, the money that I have, I give away a very nice percentage of it, and I do that because I feel like I need to and I want to, and it's the right thing to do. If I were to stop where like all my bills are paid, I could drive whatever car I want, take all these vacations. Shit, that was a long time ago. That was before OMG. I had all that before OMG. I was already there. So figure out what you want, figure out what you're going to do, and just, I've said this multiple times on this, and I'll say it again. Be honest with yourself. Look in the mirror. What do you really want? What do you really want? Do you want a Ferrari? Is that important to you? Do you want to have, everything paid for? Do you want to, pay for your kids' college? Do you want to buy your mom a house? Why are you working 60 hours a week? And if those things, if you're not where you want to be, you should be uncomfortable. You should be in pain. It is where you should be. And I love Gregory's analogy. you know, that Rocky 3, all about, you know, kind of losing the edge and losing that hunger. Where are you? Where are you? Are you sitting on this webinar and you're feeling pretty good about yourself and where you are? If you are, then great. That's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. But if you're sitting there and you're like, I want more, I need more, I deserve more, you know, I'm willing to do the time, I'm willing to do the grind. I want to make a difference, not just in my life and my family's, but maybe other people's lives as well. Then you should be uncomfortable. Start getting there, and I'll tell you one good way to get uncomfortable, and I'll share that later because there's another whole point. But anyway, sorry, I hope that didn't go too long.
No, it didn't. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna let Fletch close it out. Guys, let me tell you, this is one of the most powerful traits that you're gonna have to overcome. I'm gonna tell you why. Every one of you are comfortable. You want to know why? Because you had $7,000 to spend for this course. That's no small amount of money. Guys, there's none of you who are going without meals. None of you are homeless. You all have nice computers. You probably all have fairly nice cars. And you really have no wants. No wants. You have desires, but let's face it, you have all your necessities. Now, Mike Long disagrees with me on this. But Mike asked me, he goes, why are you still so angry, so hungry to just make more money? The answer is, guys, I'm going to be honest with you, I'm scared. I'm scared someone's going to take it all away from me. I don't believe it still. You know, I get freaked out when I go spend $500. I was broke last year. I was broke. You know, and I can't forget that feeling. I don't ever want to go back to it. I just don't. It's scary to me. And I always am uncomfortable. I feel like at any moment, and it's a wrong way to think. It might be counterproductive. But let's face it, you're all doing pretty well. What are you going to do to get uncomfortable, to start pushing the boundaries and start really digging in? And like I said, working. Because guys, let's face it, I got here because I was crying myself to sleep. I had no money. My family didn't believe in me. No one did. Really, just Mike did at the time. That was it. He seen something, and I'll never know why he's seen it. But he's seen it through all the other stuff. I was a broken, insecure, just unsure person because I was in a very low spot in my life. But the one switch that I flipped was I got real uncomfortable. I got unsatisfied that I was a mediocre man. That I was going to live my life and look back and never really tried. That I was going to be known to be average. Do you want to live to be average? I mean, how scary is that? To be a sheep. You're just through the crowd, making no difference in anyone's life, making no difference anywhere. That's not what I wanted. It's one of the traits that I literally just embrace more than anyone, and that's this one. Guys, I'm so uncomfortable right now. You have no idea. I have to hit $1 million a month or I feel I'm the biggest failure in the world. And that's what drives me, to keep finding new reasons. And I find them for myself. I'm very selfish, and I just give it back to the community. Guys, I know that all of you are way too comfortable. You're eating good. You're living in air conditioned and heat. We have it good. But when you want to go to a level that we're at, something has to happen. So ask yourself, are you too comfortable? Because there's nothing more that gets people to move any faster than pain and uncomfortability. You're fine right now. You don't need a doctor, but the moment you become uncomfortable, you want to seek one out in a hurry. You got to find out what your switch is, flip it, and get uncomfortable and start busting your ass. And that'll get you to the 30K. If you've understood what I said, just give me a hashtag understand. Because guys, 7K is a lot of money to be paying, and I know all of you are comfortable. But literally, how many of you are uncomfortable? And I should get and understand from each and every one of you on here, because you know that you're comfortable. Fletch, I'm going to turn it over to you, buddy.
Yeah, this one's a huge one. It's looking back at my life, really, and especially at the time since I found OMG. You know, a lot of you guys probably know a lot of my story about really where I was financially with utilities getting turned off, and then also with just, you know, when I started, I was carrying around a 6-year-old computer. I didn't have internet at my house. You know, the vehicle I had so many problems. It was actually better for me to actually walk to Starbucks than it was to drive there. And you know, I was very precious with my time. You know, going through that, lugging a 10-pound computer and having to wake up at 4 a.m. or actually before that to get to Starbucks when their door opened at 4. It made me, it physically changed me. It physically made me very aware that I was putting this effort in, and you know, by God, I was not going to not get the results I wanted. You know, in addition to that, you know, like I said, you guys probably know my story. In all likelihood, you know, most people on here, I would imagine, have seen a picture of me in an attic. You know, I'm on most of the sales webinars for OMG. At least I was over the first year and a half. And I looked at that same picture of myself in an attic, and I never forgot what it was like to, you know, to do that for a eking by, and still getting faced with situations where I could not provide for my family the way I wanted to. You know, and the family was growing. It was going to get worse if I didn't change. So I would challenge everybody here to be very, very comfortable with the fact that you talk about your discomfort, your reason for being here. You know what Greg says, before you quit, think about why you started. Those are things that will define your life and your character. Not just an OMG, but that will be a very stark departure in the trajectory of what you do over the course of your lifetime, when you are very sure about why you are doing something and you will not let yourself forget about it. It has nothing to do with the results. I mean, Cotton's still hungry for more money because it has nothing to do with the money. It has to do with not having the money. It has to do with the discomfort or somebody taking it away. For me, I will never be in a position where the utilities get turned off again. I will never be in a position where I have to tell my daughter, no, we cannot afford to do that, you know, $20 thing. We just don't have the money. You know, there's other things I've actually added to that, because financially now we are doing a lot better, but there are certain things I still can't do as far as more people I want to take care of. You know, Cotton and I were laughing. I'm financially responsible for 11 people right now in the world, and I wasn't doing a very good job taking care of myself 2.5 years ago. That discomfort, you know, I love it. I chose it. I want that. But those are the kind of things that push me forward, that I will continue to use to draw on, to define myself, to build my character, to keep myself hungry and scared. But here's the key, not to the point of neurosis. You've got to, like, you know, Stevens talked about, you have to decide when it's this and when it's that. So when it's time to work, when you know it's time to work, you need to be able to shift gears and know why you're working. And then when it's time to put your feet up for a second, enjoy, you know, company of your friends and family, or whatever you do enjoy doing, you got to be able to turn it off for a little while, or else, you know, you'll drive yourself crazy, and that's not probably the thing you're going for either. But if you're financially not where you want to be, that's probably why you joined, and that's probably one of the things you've got to start being more familiar with, that you've got to embody more. How many times I've told that story about the utilities, I will never forget that. I can rattle it off in 18 different ways. I can interject it into 100 different conversations, and I'm all too happy to, because it makes sure that I will never forget why I joined. I will not quit, because I will never forget why I started.
Thanks, Fletch. And guys, we only have 2 more subjects, and the next one is literally going to be a pretty controversial one. And these guys don't know what it is. And I want to tell you how gifted these guys are. I didn't share with them what these 10 things were. They're literally speaking from their heart. They didn't have time to prepare answers. That's how great Fletch is. And, you know, I'm going to let Fletch answer this one because I think that it really affects him more than anything. And especially when I've seen spending time with him over the last, you know, week. You know, I got to his office. I got to meet everybody. And Fletch, I'm going to let you talk about this one. Literally, what I'm going to say might be controversial. What you're going to say might not be, but it's this: show me your friends, and I'll show you your future.
Yeah, that's huge, Cotton. And I do have a impression that what we'll share on this will probably be a little bit different. I realized pretty early in OMG that most of the people I hung around with that I had as friends were just folks I knew at the bar, and they really weren't doing much with their life. They didn't they weren't putting extra time in to get ahead. They were putting in extra time to try to cope or try to smooth things out from the previous day. One of the things I really had to do was to get away from that. Those were not the kind of people I could talk to, I could be around. I pretty much buried myself, and I isolated myself from most people that were not in OMG for a very long period of time. Really up until the last probably 4, 5, 6 months now, I've ran a one-man gang style of business. I made sure that the only person I had to depend on was myself, and I made sure that the only person I would actually let influence me was myself, or potentially Mike Cotton, Greg, David Mills. Outside of that, I was very, very selective with the amount of time and attention I would pay to anyone. Now that said, over the last half year, I've actually brought people that I've known for a long period of time back in and trained them on what I know now as far as SEO goes. Well, for me, it's a way of giving back and also honoring the things that certain people have meant to me, during my lifetime. The people that now work in Search Explosion are some of my best friends, but they're not all my best friends. There are certain people I've known for a very long period of time that I would say I'm close to, that I truly just cannot spend time around anymore, because what I can do for myself, for my family, for the people that work here at the office, for people in OMG is too important. It's too great to let somebody that has an attitude that wants to pull other people down, that is pessimistic, that wants to blame other people on their own shortcomings in life. That's not something I can allow in my life at all. And this topic is absolutely huge. In all likelihood, that's corporate structure set up that way. Your department's made up of peers. All your peers make the same amount of money, so you're all, the same happiness level with that for the most part. They don't put you in, with somebody making minimum wage, somebody else making 50 grand a year, and somebody else making $500,000 a year. That would create so much unrest, because you'd see, that there's not a ton of difference other than, probably just a few things that you could tweak to completely change your financial output. So getting around people who have a great attitude, who are successful, really approach things the right way, pretty much following every slide that Cotton has shown you here, you find people without these problems, and that's who you should associate with. That's who's going to be the people who will lift you up.
Definitely. Thank you, Fletch. I'm going to extrapolate on it. I'm going to let everyone talk about this, including Derek, because he has a lot of insight on this as well. But guys, one of the things that I committed myself to doing when I wanted to make money and when I signed up for OMG is I eliminated everyone from my life. And unfortunately, it even cost me. And I even, Fletch and I share a lot of personal stuff together. I mean, Fletch is like a brother to me that that I really wish he was my brother. And, I even lost the woman that I loved to get this success. At this point, I don't know if it was worth it, but I had to eliminate everybody. And by starting over, these are literally my best friends. This is who I talk to every day. I talk to Fletch. I talk to Mike Long. I talk to Stephen Floyd. I talk to Derek. I talk to Joe Morfolio. I talk to Gregory Ortiz. I talk to Becker. These guys have turned into my brothers. And I've learned so much from them that I don't know where I would be or the position that I'm at. Literally, they're my only friends in the world right now. And what a good decision that I made to surround myself with people like that. I mean, it's altered my life. Fletch has changed my life. Mike Long's changed my life. Stephen Floyd has changed my life. So has Derek. And if it wasn't for Mike, I wouldn't be in a position to talk to you right now with him believing in me. I mean, if it wasn't for David Mills seen something. That's another one of my good friends. That like seeing something. These are the only people that I speak to. I don't have really any friends outside of that. And that's why these assimilation tours are so much fun, because I get to spend time with my brothers. And guys, it's so important that one of my favorite authors and one of my favorite people to read is John Maxwell. And he talks about the law of the lid. And the law of the lid is simply this. Fletch grabbed me by the hand and pulled me up to his level when I joined OMG, because Fletch had the intelligence, the information, and the resources. And what happens is either I jump over Fletch or Fletch keeps moving up. Fletch was my law of the lid, so was Greg. That's who I listened to. I began to be friends with him. Derek raises my law of the lid on a lot of stuff. Steven raises my lid. Some of the stuff that he does. Mike does too. So does David. It's the people that you surround yourself with, guys. And I feel for you if you have people that aren't supportive of you, because I was there for a while. And if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room, guys. You're in the wrong room. Be elevated by people that are higher than you. I always try to stick with people that are smarter than me, that literally can guide me. And maybe not even as smart, but that can literally take me up, my lid up another level. And it's so important, guys, who you hang out with, who you spend your time with, and everyone else. But I want to then turn it over to Derek. Derek, what would happen if you didn't hang out with the right people over the last year? What would have happened if you would have kept your circle closed?
I'd probably be driving a forklift right now, Yeah. I mean, it's just like my best friends are like people on this webinar, and Jimmy Kelly and I talk every single day pretty much. Mm-hmm. Some other people no one else knows that want to remain anonymous, but it's just my old friends from high school, and even some of my family I don't talk to anymore. Like even they complain that I don't get to go hang out. I got like a $8,000 pool stick I don't use anymore. It's like, but I mean, it's just that's not my goal in my life, to just go hang out, drink at bars, and get nothing accomplished. And all they're complaining about is how they can't make the bills. And I'm like, what are you doing about it? Oh, I picked up a few extra hours, and it's like dead-end day jobs. It's exactly like this. It's like I don't want to be with them, like them, so I don't hang out with them. And they're not. I mean, it's kind of selfish, sometimes, but it's what you have to do. It's like exclude people from your life that aren't helping you make those stepping stones. Especially when they don't understand it,
Right. This is an honest question. Fletch, have you found that, and even you did, Derek, have you found that because of your success that you've been unable to relate to certain friends anymore?
Very much so, Cotton. Yeah, it's harder and harder actually to be around people without the courage to live in a way that they will meet their dreams someday. And I put most people with day jobs that were not thought through. I'm not saying everybody should be an entrepreneur, but if you're in a job that you're not happy with, that's never going to create the life that you want to have, that lack of conviction and courage is the thing that I think is harder and harder for me to relate to.
Mm-hmm.
I can deal with people really beat up and really, messed up in a lot of ways, but without that quality, it's very hard for me to have empathy. I've done a lot of things really wrong and not found success with, and I've had a lot of bad habits, and I've associated with a lot of people that were not helpful. But I was never willing to say, yeah, and that's all life's ever going to be. And that kind of attitude is the one I can't hardly understand. And if the people I'm running into, and this includes a lot of people that I used to know quite well and used to spend a lot of money with, have that attitude or they approach life that way, it just I can't connect. And it's kind of weird for me. I feel like I can pretty much connect to everybody, but I think as I continue to do this more and more, it's going to be harder and harder to be around people that are not not only chasing their dreams but living them every day. So that's what I like most about OMG and the community we have here, and most especially the people, Cotton, you, a lot of the Stephen, Derek, I've had a pleasure of getting to know a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
It's truly incredible to be able to be around people not only who are very skillful, but that skill was probably developed because of the attitude they have toward life. And yeah, it's something I am much more aware of now than I ever have been in my life.
Sure. I mean, I've always dreamed out friends like this. It's just never knew they could. I'm going to let Steven close it out, but first I'm going to let Gregory Ortiz. He said he had some insight he wanted to add to this.
Yeah, thanks, Cotton. This is pretty much a very, very, very soft spot for me. It's something I really don't speak about publicly, but since you guys have shared your stories and spoken about it, I feel I should only do the same. When I first got into OMG, besides the fact of working, so many hours and dealing with everything at home, one of the biggest things was once I started to gain success was, kind of pulling myself away from friends, but also family members. And that's one of the things that was the hardest emotionally to get over. And now when I look back upon it, everything I did, I feel was the best decision. It was the best thing I could have done for my situation. But it is one of those things where, just like the saying goes, it's all about who you surround yourself with. Like when I was younger, and by younger I don't mean that many years. I'm talking like maybe like 7, 8 years ago. I used to hang out with a crowd of people who, they used to want to stay home and play video games all day, and they would just lay around either, just hanging out, smoking, playing video games, drinking. That's all they did. And for a time, I was there and it was fun and everything. But then it came to a point where it's like, wow, do I want to do this the rest of my life? And the funny thing is, one of them actually got in contact with me recently. He's like, hey, man, what are you up to? I keep seeing all your Facebook posts. I saw you were in Vegas. Looked like you had a great time. What's going on with you? What's up? So I briefly explained what it is that I'm doing. And I asked, what are they up to? They're doing the same thing, along with all the other friends I had before. And I know if I hadn't pulled myself away from that kind of situation, I would have been there as well. And the same goes for certain family members of mine. Many of you know my story as far as the back end goes, where like no one in my family ever made more than $40,000 for the entire year. That's how we grew up. That's how we were raised. And they all have that mindset where, if you're someone who has money or you're someone who hangs around people with money, then something is wrong with you. And it was one of those things that was very, very hard to get over and kind of adjust myself. I even had a personal conversation with Fletch, if Fletch remembers about this. And it was one of those things where, as you guys continue to grow and as you continue to see success, you just have to, step back for a second and look at it from the outside and say, everyone that's around me, are they first off supportive right now? And are they going to be supportive long term? Because at the end of the day, if they're not going to be, no matter how painful it might be, you might have to distance yourself because it's best for both parties. At least that's been my experience.
Sure. Thank you, Gregory. Stephen Floyd, I'll let you close it out, my friend.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to try to be shorter. I might have a dusty fleck in my eye like I've gotten before. What these other guys have said about like these are who our friends are. It's the truth, and I want to extend that to everybody that's on this webinar. You realize that we are part of your peer group, right? All of us in this group, right? All of us in OMG, right? We're all in this together. Some of us are at different levels, financially or different things, but we're all in it together. And I'll tell you how I really feel. I could speak for hours about this principle. In fact, I actually speak about this in my church, this exact principle and how powerful it is. And I'll tell you what, man, the thing I'd like to say the most is that when you surround yourself with people who are where you want to be, you get the confidence. You look around at these people, and for them, normal is not something that you even understand or even grasp. But the more time you spend with them, then it becomes normal to you, and it's because of who you're surrounding yourself with. And like everyone else has said, friends of mine, I have friends that I can't relate to anymore. I just don't, and I'm not better than them. None of us are better than any of you or anybody else. We're just doing different paths, but I've got friends who are just, I don't know, that they're just in such different places, and you will find, and you don't have to, the person you find doesn't have to be me. It doesn't have to be Cotton. It doesn't have to be Fletch. There's lots of good people out there, but you need people who are on your level to keep you going. You need some people who are above you to kind of pull you up. And don't forget, please don't forget, you need to be pulling some people up too. It goes all the way around. And man, that's why we're here. Everyone that's on this call, we're attempting to send that hand down to try to help some of you get pulled up. And you know what happens? This is a little selfish, but we know what happens is when we give you a hand down and you take it and you act on it, guess what? Now you're on my level or you're above my level. So now you have become one of those people who is helping me get better, who's helping me, live my dream, live my, life. And I'll tell you, like Cotton said, these webinars, these assimilation deals, this is like the best time ever. My best friends in the world right now, I'm 45. My best friends in the world right now are people I've known for less than a year. Cotton, Joe, Gregory, honestly, I don't know if you guys think that we're just like internet friends or, I don't know what, but, these are it. It's real, and we want that for you guys too. We want you to think that 30K is normal. I want you to be pissed off about paying taxes. Trust me, I want you to be mad as hell about your tax bracket. I want you to look at that thing and go, holy crap, man, I got to figure out who to give some money away to. I am not giving this much money to the IRS. These are the problems that I want you to have. I don't want you to have the problems of how am I going to pay this electric bill? None of us want that for you. We want you to have the problem of, man, God, I've got another 25, 30K I got to give away in this quarter just so I can keep my taxes down to a manageable level. Listen, that is normal for the people that I hang out with now. It wasn't a year ago. It's absolutely normal now. And, this who you hang out with is who you become. There's no more of a true thing, that's been said on this webinar. And so really seriously look at your peer group. Look at what you're doing. Look at who you're hanging out with. And if you don't like it, if you're not where you want to be, then make a change, and it will be uncomfortable. And like the last one we said, are you uncomfortable? You should be uncomfortable. When you guys, you want to try comparing wallets with Cotton? I don't want to pull up my bank account when Cotton's got his open. Believe me. But you know what that does? It doesn't make me, upset. It makes me want to work harder. It makes me a better person. That the people that I'm around, are some of them are further than me in some ways. It makes me want to work harder. And again, that's what we want for you guys. So I'll end with that, Cotton. Again, I feel strongly about this.
Sure. Guys, I had one more trait, which would have made 11. We're not going to go over that one. What I want you to do right now is like this, and then I'm going to close it out because I know we're almost right at 3 hours. You've heard what we've had to say. How many of you can commit to work on these traits and be at 30K a month within the next 12 months? It's not something that's impossible. I want you to see you post it in the OMG Way group. I want to see your commitment. Hashtag 30K. I want to see it. I want everyone to do it. If you're on here, guys, if you got inspired by anything, if you feel that this has helped you, push the needle somewhere, please. I mean, we're just sitting here talking out to space. We don't know if we're reaching you. We don't know if you're understanding what we're saying, if we were too tough. We don't know anything. We're just normal guys, and somehow we found a way to make a lot of money, and it doesn't make any sense. Still doesn't. Fletch and I were just talking that sometimes it just doesn't even feel normal. It just doesn't. I'm still that broke, beaten down dude that was, a year and a half ago. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I want you guys to literally be committed. Be committed. Get uncomfortable. I want you to take chances. I want you to pick the right friends. I want you to stop listening to bad advice. Pull yourself out of bad Facebook groups. You're getting too much information. Stop buying products that you don't need because you don't need any. And just laser focus down, guys. You got to. If I sat and worried about everything that could go wrong, I would go insane. I have so much going on that I literally would go nuts if I had to worry about it. Trust me. But I want to ask you also one last unusual favor, and it's this. Guys, if anyone has touched you or inspired you or lit a fire underneath you, what I want you to do right now is it's very important to me. I want you to send Mike Long a personal message and tell him how we affected you. That's what I want you to do. And it would mean a lot to me. It would mean a lot to Fletch. It would mean a lot to Steven. Just open up your Facebook thread, and I want you to send Mike Long a message right now. And I want you to say, Mike, these guys blew me away tonight. Mike, these guys changed it all for me. Mike, this, just one short sentence. That's all I want. That's all I ask from you in return. But I'm going to let Fletch and Steven close it out with their final comments. And they'll give Derek his final comments and Gregory, and we're going to close it out. But please, guys, I'm asking you, send them a personal message right now while you're listening. Just one sentence. Let them know how we've affected you. It would mean a lot to me. Fletch.
Amazing webinar tonight, Cotton. This stuff is, I think, is important, if not more important, than the actual technical ability to do SEO. It's what it takes to actually implement it all and to come out the other end better off, able to help more people, and really with the skill set that very few people in the world have, and certainly very few people are making the kind of money that we can with it. So, people who've been on my office hours have seen kind of my posts in the Facebook group that, I talk about this stuff. I'm pretty open with it. I am super glad that you brought this up kind of on your assimilation tonight, about kind of the mental and emotional game behind all this, and really some of those poor habits that will pretty much ensure that you never make it, above those thresholds. You got to get rid of them. There's no way you're ever going to make $30,000 a month if you're blaming other people, if you're looking for shortcuts, if you're spending too much time in the Facebook group. It's just not going to happen. These are the anchors that prevent you from getting there, and all you got to do is get rid of them. And it's not, it may take you a couple times. You may realize, oh crap, I backslid again or whatever, but just be aware of it and work on it. That's why Cotton gave you a year to get to 30,000. That's plenty of time to get rid of these anchors, and the inevitable will happen, which is 30,000 a month in income. So awesome stuff tonight, Cotton. Thank you so much, bro.
Gregory, any last words, buddy?
Steven, are you on? You want to jump in? And...
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. No, I just want to close with two things. Number one, I want to make sure that everybody here understands our heart and where we're coming from with this. The point of this was not to offend anybody or to upset anybody. And I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I know I speak for everyone else in this webinar when I say that the reason that we want to blast you a little bit is because we do care. We are intimately involved in your success. We really care about everyone here making that dream come true, making you doing your part. We want to be there to support you in every way. So again, if anybody felt twisted in any way or felt beat up on or anything, please understand where we're coming from. If we didn't care, we would have never had this. We would have just kind of let it go. But we do care. We want you guys to have what we have. That's what we want. So anyway, there I go again. So anyway, that's it, guys. Thanks Cotton, for having me, and thanks everybody else for being my friend, and I love all you guys.
Great. Gregory?
Yeah, once again, thanks for having me, and thank you guys also for all of your words and sharing your stories. I know a lot of your guys' stories, but even some of them are new to me, which is great to hear. The only thing that I do want to say is the same thing that I kind of tell people right before they come into OMG, which I hold very near and dear to my heart, is if you want to make a change in your life, then you need to actually make a change in your life. Like, just think about that for a second. If you want your life to change, you need to change something in it. Keep doing the same things, it's never going to change. Go ahead, make a change, and just look at the results you'll have afterwards. Thanks so much, Cotton, and thank you guys.
Great. Derek, any last words, buddy?
I mean, you just really have to focus on the one goal, and then don't stop until you get there. I mean, that's how I did it. That's how Con did it, and that's how everyone else did it, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just one thing you should just focus on. You can't even make it any more simpler than that. I mean, I don't even talk to my father, and he lives in my same city, and I don't talk to my mom that much. I don't even talk to any of my friends. So I mean, I feel like a loner sometimes, but I got all my friends here.
Right. That's powerful stuff, man. Guys, unfortunately, I need 5 more minutes of your time because I flubbed up. I promised Mike that I would do something. And Fletch, if you could do me a favor, and if you could post the OMG Live sign up. Guys, I want to talk a little bit about OMG Live right now and let you know. Guys, for those of you that went to OMG Live last year, I want to let you know that it's going to be entirely different than anything that it was. Entirely different. Guys, David and I are working together to where OMG Live is literally going to be a 3-day assimilation webinar. If you love assimilation webinars, and if you love the information that we put out, how we craft it and put it out, guys, OMG Live is literally going to be the greatest SEO event ever created. We have Derek, we have Jimmy Kelly, Fletch, we have Stephen Floyd, we have myself, we have Liz Herrera, and David Mills is going to be speaking. All of us is going to be there. And guys, I'm telling you this, some of the stuff that we're going to be bomb dropping on you is literally going to be altering and life changing. And I'll be the first to say this, and you can hold me to it. Last week's OMG Live was a little weak. When I'm the talk of OMG Live, it's a pretty weak. I mean, that's just how I take it. I want someone else to jump up, and we're controlling the information. We're deciding what's going on. Derek has some mind-boggling stuff that he's going to go over. Mind-boggling. Guys, for once, if you notice, I never talk about SEO. I'm going to talk about something that's literally going to alter SEO as you know it. Fletch, yes or no?
Oh, absolutely, Cotton.
Right. I showed it to Fletch on Friday. Fletch is changing his whole business model over to it.
Yeah, it's going to change the way that whole piece of our business works. It's going to, oh my gosh, yeah.
Guys, we're going to show you how to remove rip-off reports. Jimmy Kelly is literally going to be at the top of his game. Stephen Floyd hasn't even told me what he's going to go over yet. We haven't talked, but we still got 3 months to go over with it. But you know what? Every time Stephen Floyd's come on here, he's blowing you away. He's blowing you away. So guys, I'm just telling you this. This could be the biggest mistake of your life if you don't make OMG Live, because I'm going to make sure that it's the biggest mistake of your life, that you missed it. And right now, we're over 70% full. Guys, I'm telling you right now that if you haven't got on to get on the payment plan, I would definitely do so right now. Fletch, did you find the link for me, or do you have it where we can either post it in the group or out to everybody?
No, I stepped out real quick. I'll track it down. I don't
cool.
have it off the top of my head.
Yeah, did you have it, Stephen?
I think I did. Give me 1 second.
Great. Guys, we're going to post it in the group, and we're also going to send it all out to you before you can go click on it. Guys, I promise you, if this isn't the greatest OMG Live or the greatest SEO event that you ever attended, and I'm going to put this up there.
Yeah,
Good.
got it.
Yeah, post it out to everyone and post it in the group as well. Guys, I will personally, now, this isn't from Mike or David, this is me. I will personally write a check out to you for your money back. You know that we bring it every assimilation webinar like our life depends on it. That's exactly what's going to go on at this OMG Live. And I'm telling you, insane for you to miss it. And I don't want you to get locked out. I'm not trying to scare you. There's only 200 spots. Next year, it might be a little bit bigger because I think that we're talking about moving into Las Vegas. This year, it's still in Franklin, Tennessee. But guys, if you're not thinking about it, I would reconsider. If you were at OMG Live last year, I know I might get some flack for it. It was a little weak. It's not going to be the case this year. I promise you. I promise you that. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this webinar. I have no idea what I'm going to go over next week. I haven't got that far yet. But please, guys, still do me the favor, guys. Please, please. If we touched you or inspired you, send Mike Long a message right now. I want to blow up his message box. I literally do. So, guys, if you can commit to send a message to Mike Long for me, if we did something, give me hashtag send right now before we go. I literally want to see it. Please. I want to know because Mike should be calling me here shortly going, what happened on this webinar? If you're committed to sending him a message within the next 10 minutes, just a thing, please. It'll mean a lot to me. We can keep doing webinars like this all day. Just give me a hashtag send if you'll do it in the next 10 minutes. So that's all I ask. Guys, I want to thank everyone, all my brothers here. They're really, truly all my best friends. And I'm very, very, very thankful for them. And I wouldn't want to do a webinar with anyone else on here, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week. Have a great night.